Okay, let's get going. Let's make sure to remember to unmute the game because they do that a lot. Okay, let's get it going, everybody. Alright, everyone, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy Hardcorn, and today we're back with even more action timing. And today we've got Miss Shizuru's Renewal today. We've got Total War. We've got New Year's. We've got it all. Events, you name it. There is a lot that has come out with the beginning of this year. For the first actual week, we have tons and tons of stuff we've got to go over. We have a new event, a whole new game mode. We have all this wonderful stuff to do with Shizuru, and everything both good and bad. So to start off, well, for one thing, it's good to see everybody once again. We may be here once a week, and even then sometimes on a little video we produce. But sometimes it's always good to see everybody, especially on the first week of the year. I hope everybody's new year turned out well. I know mine did. It's snowing a lot here, so what better thing to do than to just stay here and just hang out with the boys and talk about the pretty women that pervades our lives so very much. But first, let's talk about Shizuru. As everybody knows, this is one of my favorite characters in the entire game. I think she's fantastic. I really do appreciate what she does mechanically, even though she's a lot difficult to use and requires hellacious investments and all that sort of stuff. It still feels worthwhile to do so. Let's turn down the music. So Shizuru obviously got her renewal, and with renewal of old characters, they get the high gloss feature. Said high gloss feature is where they add a reflective texture on the character's outfit themselves. It pervades the entire outfit. New characters get this as well. Well, new characters get this for the most part, but the thing is that when you these old characters finally get updates and they get cleaned up, to say the least. Last week we took a look at what her model was going to look like beforehand, before everything went and changed. I know for sure, the one thing that I really was focused on was that she has had this knee thing in her her thigh thing for years and years, but they actually managed to smooth it out and actually looks like a muscular thigh instead of she's got a rendering problem and there's a nice 45 right there on her leg. This does not exactly pervade when you have other stuff. We'll get back to the other thing in a second though, Jeff. Originally, you could not actually take off her glasses. You could change her hair though. Now you can actually take off her glasses. Though I have to say though, Shizuru not having her glasses is like Shiranui without her water clones or Asagi without her hair halo. It's not the same person. So in terms of what's actually changed, let's go to the walk mode. Oh, there we go. So for the most part, they kept everything the same. She's still got the fat asses that she's always had for the most part. But I'm sure everybody's heard at this point that good old Nagisa, as time has went on, has made Shizuru's chest bigger and bigger as time has went on. They certainly updated Shizuru up here, that's for sure. That is one of the first things I noticed when I went and used her the other day on the release, because she was at least 2 cup sizes smaller than this in the first place, and now she is just absolutely enormous. She's not exactly going out there to win any contest against Shiranui, but my goodness, the teacher is going to teach us a lesson in how much back strength it needs to carry all that milk around. She loses a bit of her. She's less sassy in her pose, which is kind of sad because her default the CG that they use for in Taimanin Shizuru 2 is this. So this is Juru of the Flowers. She used to have this. I like this a lot. It's a fun, sassy outfit. It's not outfit, but it's a fun look. Now that she has, like, she's more composed, reserved, to say the least. You could call it that. But it's a definite improvement in look, to say the least, so I can essentially appreciate that. But when we go to other costumes... Well, actually, let's go back to this. See, Jeff has it right there. They got rid of the weird angle that I was talking about because she cants her hip out. She always does that. But then when you turn it to the side, like we pointed out earlier, the thigh and the leg problems are not exactly a problem anymore. They cleaned it up, which I really do appreciate. To nobody's surprise, this game starts hanging up for some reason. It's probably because it has to load the textures, the HD textures. Now, what I have trouble remembering is, did they change anything to the face? Because it's not exactly the same kind of apparent as like someone with Asuka, where they changed the eye and most of the facial features on them to make it smaller and supposedly cuter. She still retains the same serious look that she's always had. Because then when you put it on something else like that, like you can take off the glasses. I think you could do this on this one in the first place. I don't know why this was just not an immediate toggle feature on the original outfit. I mean, for the most part, it's just like you can take off the hat, you can put on the hat. We'll use that one though. Because for the most part now, she is also like that much larger, and you can really see it on this. Like last week, I know we used this one several times, and she was definitely smaller then. This time is like pretty insane stuff. It's like they're really just coming out the wall. Like we got like Piranha 3 Double D over here. Insane stuff. So later on, we'll go check out Miss Shizuru in action, because she certainly does have a lot of benefit to, well, we've talked about this before. She's very good in VR. She's also good in Total War, which is where we're going to be headed next. This is Total War. I have a lot to say about this, and I'm probably going to get mad at some point. I can feel it already. So let's explain what Total War is. Let's start off with normal mode. Oh, before we go there, Total War is a part of the Arena series. We have Arena Tower VR and the single-player AI-controlled game mode. They have 2 different currencies. This honor currency, the gold one, is only acquired when you're in the top, you need to rank within the top 500 to get any sort of coins in the first place. I'm out here in like the lower 20. So you can see just how difficult it can be. And honestly, I don't really try that hard because I don't like the game mode itself. But with the honor tokens, you get 100 if you're number 1. But in every normal mode, like in this, you get 1,000 coins regardless of your ranking, as long as you're able to make over, if you rank, you're going to get 1,000 coins. If you do that, you're just going to be able to go get you can get the some of these rewards over the course of a month. It just takes a really long time to get them. The honor coins, though, are going to be an absolute struggle to get. Then there's a secondary ranking. If you get more than 1,000,000 points, you also get another 1,000 coin bonus. This is why it's such a desirable thing to get over 1,000,000 points. You don't need any more than that because you don't get any other bonuses afterwards. This is in normal mode, though. Normal mode is different than relay mode. We'll explain what normal mode is. Normal mode itself is where you have to pick one team of 3. If you pick your strongest, you get all your stuff, and you try to aim for the highest score possible. Like right now, I have yet to hit 1,000,000 myself, but I certainly think I can be able to hit 1,000,000 in due time. Like this is, I went and pushed the record for myself in the last 2 days, and I thought when I really felt myself starting getting like extremely angry that like so much of this is an RNG event, and you are sitting there at the mercy of the game itself. Like you are, if you do not like seeing the game being an absolute idiot in every sense of the word, this is not exactly going to be for you. We'll show what a run looks like for both. But next we'll explain relay mode. Relay mode is where you have you can choose a group of like 3 people and then do a run back and forth and everything like that. This is probably better explained like this. So relay mode is where you can pick teams of 3, and I don't think you can reuse you can't reuse certain items in each of these teams. Like you can also hit auto assemble team, save and load a certain setup. Like we have 35 characters right now, and you can make like 12 teams. So there's 36 with the addition of like whoever's going to be next. I think it's going to be like Samara. You will have 36 characters, and that's 12 even teams. You do a challenge consecutively, which means they will keep doing runs. Each run of this lasts 1 minute. So in 1 minute, your team needs to be able to do as much damage as possible. This is also the less invasive way or less cost-consuming way to go test yourself for normal mode, because normal mode lasts 2 minutes. So whenever you have so if you get something like I got here with my team that I also use on normal mode, 578,000. You think, okay, I'm able to do this much in 1 minute, I should be able to get 1 million in 2 minutes. That's not exactly true. There are so many factors in this that could usually, you could do a whole lot more damage if you were able to control them, but you have to sit there and wait, because that's just it. This is a non-playable game mode. You just sit there, equip stuff, and you effectively watch a spreadsheet solve itself. It is legitimately one of the worst game modes they have released, because I actually like playing the game. I really enjoy it. This is a mode you don't play. This is something you just sit up, you sit up, put all your resources in there, and just wait. That's it. This takes like 15 minutes to do if you do all 12. You can put the bare minimum in like each one of these, and you'll make like a couple million points. So let's take a look at what the ranking for this is. Like, look at this, 10 million. That's not out of the ordinary. That's like, if all facets of all 12 teams do well, you can make this kind of score. So it has the same thing, but you get more points because you're using more Taimanins. So 200 honor coins at 1, and if you rank even at all in the top 500, it's 20. But you still get 2,000 apiece if you manage to rank. And if you're able to get 5 million, I get like 4 or 5 million a week. This is like a weekly thing too. So it resets and you get to do it again. So let's say it's like, okay, if I manage to just even top 500 and get 5 million points, that's 4,000 a week. Combined with normal modes ranking, if I manage to bottom out, get 10 honor coins, 1,000, and I manage to make 1 million points if I'm lucky, that's what? That's 5,000 points a week if you're able to do that minimum. So let's go to the shop. The shop is pretty rough, to say the least. Most people will take an extremely long amount of time to come even close to making this efficient. I've been playing this for almost 3,000 hours, and it's like, I don't care about this game mode. I can make it efficient. I can make it profitable, but I don't want to spend my time ripping my hair out because, like you guys are saying, you get to watch the girls just run into stuff, hurt themselves extensively, not crit, not do enough damage, get totally stopped up, lose hundreds of thousands of damage because of something stupid and out of your control. It's extremely frustrating. like watching your Pee Wee football team just get totally. It's like watching your Pee Wee football team get totally creamed by like the fucking New England Patriots or something. It's pathetic. Like you get stuff that's like, you know, secondary resources that are honestly a little harder to farm than VR stuff, because at least with VR it's like you play the game in VR. This, you just sit here and wait for it to happen and wait for it to finish. You have a monthly limit on crystals, a weekly limit on emblems. They're all time and weekly based. You don't actually have, you know, VR has that too, but it's like it's a slower climb. You really do feel incremental progress. The arena is a similar situation. You go to the arena, they have unlimited time options. They have obviously a permanent feature like this, you know, emblem kit. It's a waste of time. You get them better in VR. But here's the thing though. Where is ranking? Arena is harmless. It's a PvP feature. You don't ever have to worry a single thing about it. It's simple and it's still kind of crap for the most part. But it doesn't matter. Like they can fight amongst each other, and it's like, even though you have zero control in this game mode as well, you can also speed it up, and you have a little bit more involvement with the cheer feature, obviously speeding it up. You can make certain setups to where it's like it becomes disadvantages for other players. Invincibility is nice. There's a lot of other fun stuff you can use in this. It doesn't feel like... Also, here it is. 6,000 points exactly is the weekly goal for everybody who doesn't want to go do the top 100 climb in Arena. You get a consistent reward of 75 gems, 3,200 Arena coins, and the rotational box for top class. The fight to get here is extremely simple because every week you... Like, where's 5,000? When you hit 6,000, you drop 1,000 points because you didn't manage to maintain your rank that week. So you have to fight back to 6,000 every single week. You'll get knocked down to 5. You do 11 battles, and that's it. You do it once a week like that, and it's non-invasive at all. You don't have to worry anything about it because there is a concrete goal for yourself and anybody, really. Total War doesn't have these goals. It's a complete pissing match, dick measuring contest that you just sit here and try to hope that your team is able to do something about it. This is why I keep seeing so many times about how, like, people are asking, how am I supposed to do this? What am I supposed to do with this sort of, against these sort of things in the first place? Like, okay, we have concrete goals of like, you need to rank in the top 500. Let's take a look at what the 500th ranked person in there. Okay. So number 500 is 583,000 points. That is 583 million damage. Most people will not ever reach... Most people who have not taken the game as seriously as this group of people does will not be able to ever see this damage unless they start playing it way too seriously and start really milking and optimizing themselves to do as much damage as possible. And even then the meta starts falling into, you take Spinel, you take a damage, you take a defense, and then you go from there. Like, I'm over here at fucking, like, what? I don't remember where I'm at. I think I'm like, no, it's 150 over 3. Yeah, there I am. Like, my best one is 977,000. It can go to 1 million. So let's show what it looks like when you actually play normal mode. Okay, listen to this. I'm gonna put my controller down. There, it's on the desk. I'm gonna pick up my drink. We're gonna hit start. The biggest tech you can do in this game mode is hitting skip. That's it. I mean, Grits, you got it right there. Watching all of the girls avoid heals, run into damage. This is all stuff you could have avoided in the first place. Look, he's got his Destructo disc out, and it's hitting Spinel. That means I'm probably going to lose 50 million damage right there because she gets interrupted all the time. In fact, look at that. She got her HP focused, and now she's going to take too much damage. Thankfully, it's chased over to Ines because she can pull it away from there. You get to watch the game play itself poorly, Rexos, and it's terrible. Okay, she didn't crit. That means we're going to lose about another 5 million damage right there. I mean, Grits has it right there. You could have just, I would have rather had the tower reset in the first place because that would have been a much more fun game mode to do. Because that has variance in each floor. Alright, Spinel died, so that means we're not going to get a good run. We just sit there and wait. We could have had it like, you know, you cap it to 50 floors and it changes the enemies and they have, you know, modifiers like in VR or something. That would have been a lot more fun than just this. This is terrible. I mean, new girls have like... Oz is a really good example of this because she has like the highest base stat total in the game right now, because like at 87 all of her stats are like at, I think, over 6,000 apiece. Because in the past they would make it so, you know, like, oh, they all had features. Like, that's fucking bullshit right there. She just got hit 4 times. They have features that they have, like, you know, just sit there and they would develop over time. They'd have like facets like, oh, Ingrid would be the highest Ingrid would have high attack but low defense. And then Kiara would have like not very good attack but like the highest defense in the game. She's a brick wall. 490,300. So staying that like stats is like, you know, they do improve over time. It does happen. Dude, I wish that, dude, Grits, I wish this game mode was like, you could play with other people. Because look at that. I managed to, like, my best, you guys saw the best run I had there is 977,000. That's how much damage Spinel does by herself. Spinel will do, I think, like, is doing like 80% of the damage for me, and I just have Ina here. So she is, one, standing away from the enemy, and just doing that. She has no healing because you can't really build Spinel for healing because she has to do all the damage she can. Oh, we didn't even... That's right, we didn't have that. Where's White Feather? Okay, she can heal herself. Succubus Whispers. We'll talk about what it takes to make good stuff in the first place. Okay. She got that. I need to check if everything's actually equipped in the first place. Okay. So let's try it again. Let's see just how much a level of variance it does in terms of like from one run to another. Like 490,000. That's even like, I forgot to equip something to even the Phantasma. But even then, it just goes to show what it takes to make anything, like, doable. Like, we'll just do this to show the difference in runs, and then I'll show what we'll show what Relay looks like after this. Like, see, the thing is, too, it also shows, like, they use the VR UI and everything like that. Like, I can switch characters. So that means, like, if you're actually using the supporter that gives the 10% boost to, like, oh, you can use skills and everything like that. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't accomplish anything because switching characters would usually mean you're trying to set something up, and you can't do that. Well, you see, I try to lower my expectations when I found out that it's like, I think they announced this in like December, that, okay, they're going to have like, that this game mode is going to be AI controlled. So I thought like, alright, I already know the game mode, like this game mode already has like garbage AI. That's like the worst thing right there. Spinel gets like knocked around for 4 seconds and she just can't do anything. Good, it's at 30 million, that's really nice. But that just shows how much variance there is in between each run. Because I mean, Relay, this is the same thing that happens with Relay. You just sit here and like, instead of 2 minutes, it's 1 minute. And then like when it finishes up, you can show the other team and what they do, and like the other team will just go. Because you still get points whether or not you die or you complete the mission. Like, if you complete the mission, you get points, and if you die, you still get points in the first place. 901,000, that's pretty okay. It's a lot of luck. It's a lot of luck in bloating your stats up. So typically, what you want to do with we'll show relay mode. Like we'll retry and do that. So the goal with this is obviously to do as much damage as possible. Something I didn't touch on though was the fact that criticals are back. The enemy can crit you, and also you can crit the enemy now. So criticals are actually really, really important in this. Since now we're able to actually accomplish that in the first place, so characters like Kurenai, green critical builds are now back to actually, you know, they're back in action and can do tons and tons of damage. Because this is the game mode where effectively you're just like, you're supposed to like hit as hard as possible. That's one thing I actually wanted out of the game mode for it to return, and I'm glad it did. I mean, this is the greatest extent about it. It's like, all right, here we go, whoopee, they get to do it. $412. Okay. I mean, that just goes to show how much variance is in between each run. Like my best one here is 578, and I use the same team. It literally just comes down to like what's going on. So we got like 900,000. We did 900 million damage. So what does it take to do efficient damage and also get things consistently moving? So the most important thing you can have in what is it? Normal mode or relay, it's the ability to apply defense down consistently. Because Black himself has the aspects of, okay, he's immune to mind control and nightmare, so he cannot be disabled in any capacity. So he can't be disabled, so which would make the mission obviously much easier and much more enjoyable. He has reduced debuff duration by 70%. So that means, say Tokiko's dart knife, that is a 40% defense down for 10 seconds. That now lasts 3 seconds. You need to have some sort of a way now to constantly apply defense down. And I mean, you have to be doing it all the time. There's like no way that you need it as much as possible. There's no way around it. So one thing is that, like, if you manage to get the rebellious weapon for Kiara, Eleanor, and Phantasma, this actually has a lot of use behind it because you can get 40% defense down, but then you have to do the math of, like, hold on, let's find out what the math of 70% of like 8% is. So 40%, so it's what is it, 70% of 7. 4.9 seconds off. So 7 minus 4.9 is like what? 3.1? Oh, it's 2.1 seconds. So if you manage to get all the correct stacks on and have Phantasma crit, you can get 2.1 seconds of defense down. That may not sound like a lot, but it actually makes a pretty big difference, and it's also the reason why you can have why so many runs of this have like Phantasma or Shizuru or Tokiko, because they keep applying defense down so quickly. Survival is actually a big problem in this, because you need to balance the fact of between survival and also damage. It's extremely important that you do, because obviously we watched the 2 runs that I did over there in normal mode. One, we had Spinel die early on because she got targeted and you can't do anything about that. So what happens here is you need to have, like, we have red Phantasma, because it lets her heal herself. I also want Phantasma to be in close because she has the Nightmare Circle, because this is a field effect, so she has to be next to the enemy, and I mean like within spitting distance of each other. So Dreamclaw gets her in close. Well, how are we doing there, Darth Neo? It's good to see you again. We're just talking about Total War and what it takes to actually make it doable for people. It's a very extensive game mode, and I want to talk about it one time, because I do not want to do this game mode outside of the one time a week I need to do it to get the rewards. Because you just treat this mode like Arena. Except with Arena, you had like Cress and all this other fun stuff you can do. Like, you're on a fixed plane, you can do that. Nah, this is the game mode where you just watch people. It's like it's a Three Stooges bit. They just keep falling all over each other and doing tons of damage, and just doing damage to themselves and Mr. Edwin Black. But to take advantage of the field effect, you get Dreamclaw, so she gets in close. It may be a damage hit, but I take White Feather and Clinging Nightmare so I can break armor down. I want to break the armor down because whenever he gets hit in there, he stops attacking, but any projectiles he has out there, like his stupid scythe, it still manages to attack somebody. We also take Succubus Whispers because it has a field effect, the attack boost, and also it's also does damage over time. Yeah, it's a team attack boost, which is obviously something very important you need when you have Spinel on the team. Supporters are pretty much do as much damage as possible. We take White Feather, obviously, for the utility. Next, we're going to talk about Spinel. Spinel is undoubtedly the strongest DPS in the game. There are no questions about that. Since Mr. Black is a demon, and Spinel gets her weapon from VR on probably one of the easiest weeks. So she gets Shadow of the Wicked Star. It makes Demonic Arm Detonate do more damage, which is one of her best. It's a ranged skill that does melee damage. That is literally an entire meta decision choice that they made in the creation for that character. She does more damage to demons and takes less damage. This is the answer for her. If you don't have that weapon, though, you can actually just use her arena weapon, or even then if you have Oendan, or no, not critical. You could get the critical rate one. You could play her in green. Blue is the way to go because obviously it has racial damage and like direct bossing stuff. Like for mine, it's just Demon Magatamas all the way. Because she's your main damage. She's super simple. She buffs the team. She's very, very important. Like you just take as many skills as possible so she can keep the keep her attack buff up for as long as possible. You can do this with 3. It takes more effort, and you can't take her Taimanin art. And having her Taimanin art is actually a really substantial difference because it lets her power through the whatchamacallit, that little spinny attack, little scythe attack he does. It lets her power through that by doing her basic string. The AI is not smart enough to just get out of that. They just keep running into it. But with Spinel, since criticals are back, anything that can do a critical rate for the team or like critical damage is actually pretty substantially important. The Founding 3 supporter, yeah, this thing is actually kind of nuts. It's always been a very good supporter, but now you can actually get a use from all 4 facets of passives. More damage, less damage taken, more health. This is obviously like a godsend for Spinel. And then if you have it in the main, she does 48% more critical hit damage just for having it on the main slot. It's like having Kaoru, but you can switch it into 3 colors. It's pretty great stuff. And then, since Spinel is primary DPS, if you want to push even higher and do other stuff, you need a secondary DPS. And obviously I wanted to pick Aina because I knew like, okay, I don't need to do critical rate boosting so much for Aina because she has so much critical rate built in. She also stands away from the enemy. She constantly will attack. She has stuff that can attack if she gets out of range, and she can pull objects away from her by being away from the enemy. That's specifically why I chose her. It's like picking characters for Machine Week in VR or Ingrid Week because you need something that can stay away from him and also do consistent damage. A better option, well, let's just show what my Aina has. Like I'm just using the regular old arena weapon, and I put like demon mags on it. These obviously could be better and will probably be like the difference between me getting 1 million points or just a different setup entirely. Because that's another thing about this game mode. You don't need to do what I'm doing. You can use different setups and like get away with it. That's like the one beautiful thing about it is like there's probably like an unorthodox specific method that you can use to really just end up laying into the enemy in the first place. One such strange solution is Ragnarok. Ragnarok herself is like obviously one of the newest supporters we have. We'll take a look at her later too. We're going to be talking about that. Because this supporter is like you just sit there every 5 seconds when she gets hit. So you're going to get hit all the time in this game mode. You freeze nearby enemies. There's only one enemy, so we'll always hit black. And freeze, obviously, you know what it does. It immobilizes the enemy, and they do double damage when they take another hit. So it's really worthwhile to do so, because obviously if things go right, Spinel can just end up nuking the guy for like a bajillion damage. And then, when attacking a frozen enemy, it deals damage to 3% of the current HP at a 25% chance. This is nice. This is somewhat stupid, but it's really good. What this does is that it is the current HP. So Black himself has like hundreds of thousands of HP. So I forget how the calculation works. It's like, so it's 3% of like a million. What's that? 30,000? That's 30,000 more damage you didn't have to do. However, it's a percent chance on a frozen enemy. So I imagine like when Samara finally gets in the game that we'll have to take a look at that. But either way, I built Ina specifically for criticals because it's worthwhile to do so. She likes to crit. She attacks really fast, she has lots of skill spam, and she also has like so many projectiles and everything like that. She's able to just sit there, and she got off 2 ultimates when we were using her in those runs. And obviously ultimates are really nice ways to stop the clock. However, if you're chewing true autonomy and you leave the game alone, you will lose the buffs on the hit because you watch the whole animation, and that means you lose the buffs. You have to learn how to power game you have to learn how to just accumulate resources and power game the situation. And even then, it still doesn't feel very satisfying to do because you chase the score, but you didn't do anything. Like, I don't feel very much pride in like, ooh boy, I effectively just input the numbers on my microwave, hit start, and left. That's normal mode, and that's relay mode in a nutshell. There is nothing else for this. There is nothing else for this. This should have been a game mode we had to be able to play in the first place, and Alright, you can actually skip ultimates. It's the one tech you can actually do in this. If you skip the ultimates, you still get the buffs and you can make the hit. But it's like, this should have been a mode where we play with other people. So that's it. I have nothing else to say about this. This is legitimately trash. It's a horrible, horrible decision. But it makes me glad that VR is still in the game and I can play that. Oh, in terms of like just skipping entirely in the first place, like it's Blue Archive, where you just disable ultimate animations in the first place. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? That makes a lot of sense. Did you notice how, Grits, look at his ears though. His ears like go all the way down to like the bottom of his jaw. So like, look at him. He's like, I heard that. I heard that. I heard what you were saying about me. Does he look like this in his, Does he look like this inside of his, whatchamacallit, encyclopedia entry? That sounds like it. Super Monkey Ball. Let's look at that. He's a deranged Ewok. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, have you seen that guy scream? He's like, oh, oh. Let's go to collections and monsters. This also goes to show how long it's been since he's been a boss. No, he has a frown now. He's obviously like, he's like, oh, I'm Mr. Serious. I'm like, I'm mad. It's like, I'm scary. I'm scary. He puts his arms behind him and he's like, ah, yes, I look like I'm fucking Zemnis or something. Boy, if Action Taimanin was in English, I'd love to have Billy Zane for Edwin Black. That would be amazing. Look at that. He's like, he's serious. You can take him seriously too. Actually, no, his ears are not like on the side of his head. They're like down here. What is that? Look at him. He's like, yeah. You think you can take me on there, buddy? He looks like fucking Waluigi. What a crazy man. I digress, though. Let's have some fun, actually. Let's go do the event. Today we have the boost for +5, so that means a trip down memory lane is actually going to be quick for the most part. It's his mutton chops. That's right. He looks like Andros Burnside, or one of my favorite presidents. Let's take a look at Himuro Karen, though. Everybody's favorite Karen that was just introduced in the game is actually a pretty terrible supporter. So let's take a look at this. We talked about her, I think, last week, but let's take a look at, let's get a refresher. Let's read what she does. Karen has the effect Ice Art Flash Freeze. When hit below 30% HP, encases himself in ice for 5 seconds. While encased, the character becomes uncontrollable except for the supporter skill. But they are invincible and recovers 2 to 4% of their total HP per second. It activates only one time during the battle. And then the main effect is, it's a call. It freezes people, deals damage to equal to, 1240 of her attack, and freezes enemies for 5 seconds. Absolutely terrible. Like, this is directly fodder for using it in the exchange facility. So, if you ever thought about using the exchange facility, yeah, go right ahead. This is like the thing for you. What an absolute travesty of a supporter. But, yeah, it's a one-time Lapis dodge. Lapis at least gets the ability to make that one of her skills. And it's actually a pretty fun strategy in the arena where you use her limited supporter and a bunch of other effects when she takes healing to just make her a turret that fires damage every time she gains HP. That's a fun strategy you can work around. You can't do this with her. You only get to do it one time, and you have to be below 30% HP. It's not good. I would not be surprised that in the future that we get another game mode like Total War. Well, another game mode in a long time in the future that makes it so that that it makes a supporter like this useful, and we're eating crow about it. I don't think so, because this is a supporter that's like, when we're talking about niche effect supporters, this is like the top of the pack. How very specific and not good. That seems like an effect you should have. This is the type of supporter that should have been an SR in the first place. That's what it really feels like for the most part. This does not really need to be a UR. There's a lot of supporters that are actually like this in the first place that should have been SRs. But let's take a trip down memory lane. Miss Shizuru, please. It's cold outside. Miss Shizuru, it's cold outside. We gotta get you some clothes for the situation. There we go. Delicious. So, woman's walking on the street. Oh my god, it's Samara. Golden hair blowing in the wind, eyes shining clear and blue. In contrast, she was wearing a jet black dress. Her name was Ragnarok Shimura. So, I want to do a little bit more explanation about Samara herself. Samara is her actual name. This is it. She is this is Kiara's mother. So, it's Onisaki Shimara. That's her name. Ragnarok, though, is the title. It's a similar title to like Almighty that Asagi has. You earn the title of Ragnarok. That's why her supporter is called that. But her real name is Shimura. I'm very glad they made this distinction. I really am. The queen who united the different tribes of the Frost Phantoms, and the boss of the demon mafia, Banshee, that began to make their way to the human world. She tours the human world to seek a foothold for her growing power, or more like strolling and enjoying the scenery of another world. Shimura, who had been living in the demon realm, was brought to the human world by an event involving the sacred tree Yggdrasil and fell in love with the human. After solving a case, she married said human, and after their baby girl Freya was born, she lived in this home world for some time. Yeah. But the peaceful times came to an end when her uncle's rebellion in the demon realm led to the deaths of her parents and siblings, and an assassin came for her as well. To escape her uncle and to keep her daughter safe, Shimura, with the help of Gosha, hid herself in the demon realm by pretending to have been killed by her husband. A few years later, her uncle, who was lulled into thinking he had dealt with his enemies, was easily defeated by Shimura. It's Shimura. I'm just going to say Shimura. That she secretly amassed. But not everything went as planned. Her husband was killed in action while she was in the demon realm, and her daughter Freya, not knowing whether her mother was alive, lived with her grandparents. In Gosha, all grown up. Although the tribes are united, a tribe without a leader soon will split once again. So Ragnarok decided to strengthen the tribe's unity by creating a group called Banshee to procure supplies from the human world to the Frost Phantoms. And they lived in the snowy plains of the demon realm. Nis and a group of Frost Phantoms came to the human world and settled in Yomahara. When their lives stabilized, their next step was to send a follow-up team, and finally, Ragnarok herself arrived in the human world. Uh-oh, mommy. Milk, icy hot milk. Wow. Ragnarok, who had crossed the door of the demon realm to the human world, was in a forest. She went through the door but was surrounded by trees that she did not remember. Oh, dude, it's Yokuso elf forest tribe thing. It's the one designed by Oi Nagisa. Dude, it's like it's a crossover. Momentarily confused, she found the reason. It's been a decade since the door was last used. Oh, this ain't good, bros. I thought I'd be in here like no time if I just went this way I remembered. But I have nowhere to go now, man. So I'd rather not join the latecomers and go to Yomahara. There ain't no point. Ragnarok was panicking, but she didn't feel threatened. The landscape was different from what she remembered, but her house wasn't that far. She took the wrong path, but it won't take long. Yeah, brah, could this be an opportunity? She then makes her way down the mountain to check out her current location. What comes to mind during her first solo action in years is that she's free now. It's just for a bit, but enjoying the scenery as she walks down, pretending to be a tourist, has its charm. Yeah, brah, let's go home, even if nobody's here. Let's go out. Let's hang out, bras. Ragnarok continues to come down the mountain. Someone was watching her. Oh, just as the rumors say, she's really here on her own. The voice was frozen with shock. Oh, that's a good one. The figure revealed itself as she lost sight of Ragnarok. Dambala, a female Naga, an enemy of Ragnarok who she had lost against in the war and was hiding in the deepest parts of the demon realm. Ragnarok has a grudge against her as many of her friends were killed by her. She knows she has fewer skills than Ragnarok's, and so she has been building her strength in hopes of taking revenge. Burnout revenge. Delighted that the chance was now upon her, she headed down to the mountain to let her comrades know of the news. Ragnarok was rocking around Misaki City. Brah, it's only been a few years since I left the human world, but the streets have changed so much. She was lost. She remembered her way to her hometown, but it changed in the past couple of years, which didn't match with what she remembered. I don't know, this is kind of weird. It's like she sounds like she was supposed to be gone for hundreds of years, but it's 10 years. I mean, things change, but it's they don't change that much. The way a beautiful woman like Ragnarok wandering the city attracted the attention of the inhabitants even if she didn't want it. She looks like a dancer from Carnival. How does she not turn heads? Black Swan looking ass over here. Because it's unfortunate that she didn't attract the attention of the only civilians. Hey, you walking around. Mind if I ask you a few questions? It was a time and insecurity in Misaki City. Not only was Ragnarok beautiful, but she was noticeable because she had a strong magical presence. One could tell she was a demon at a glance, so it's obvious a Taimanin would talk to her first. Especially in times like Christmas. Cases involving demons were rampant, which explains the Taimanin on high guard. You're a demon, right? Why are you here? They were suspicious of her because of the climbing number of incidents involving demons. Ragnarok sighed as she felt suspicious in their voice. Oh, bro, I forgot. I gotta suppress and hide my powers in, like, the human world. It's been, like, way too long, dude. She found it funny that she made such a rookie mistake, but she couldn't laugh about it. Being suspected means that if she makes a wrong move here, more suspicion will be directed at her. Oh, man. Ragnarok threw a punch faster than the trained Taimanin could notice. As she struck the jaw spot on, they dropped unconscious without being able to resist. Dang, brah. Work must have made you so tired. Ragnarok said out loud, then pretended to help the failing Taimanin, dragging them into an alley. Ugh. It's like easy to freeze them with frost, but then there's like civilian casualties or something, with like, or even the entire village. It's gonna hurt, man. But like, hang in there. Yeah, I'll be okay. As she dragged the Taimanin deeper into the alley, damn it, did she see us? No time to explain, let's finish her off. Coincidentally, demons who had been spying on her in the streets, in hiding, hurriedly revealed themselves. Demons? It's like, you don't even seem like you're with this Taimanin. Ragnarok thought the Taimanin's teammates had joined, but it was demons. It was demons. And they're gonna kill her too. Why are they attacking her? Didn't it cross her mind? Brah, why are you coming after me, man? She murmured, then carefully released a small amount of cold air, not hurting the stunned Taimanin. Aren't those girls like reptiles too? They don't stand a chance against like the lady who's like the antithesis of their existence. Look at that! It's the first time I've been able to take a story, an event story seriously for like in forever. But this is Shizuru's renewal in action. She actually has a lot going on that has changed. It's mostly just a lot of AoE increases to her skills. They didn't make a lot of her skills like faster or anything like that. I'm gonna turn that down. Let's see if they actually went and changed her ultimate. Nope, nothing changed. So it's mostly a cosmetic update with a few. It's because like, from what I remember, it's mostly a cosmetic update with a few changed features, and that's about it. And of course, she has her passive, which we need to go over actually. So this is her passive. It's Bloom. So she drops a rose that grants one out of the following 5 effects when an enemy marked with Seed Bomb is eliminated or the duration ends. So Rose is, it gives this rose drops from an enemy when they die or the expiration of the effect. And they are color coded, which is actually something I really, really wanted to happen, and they are. So green for HP restore, particle charge is, I think, like, I don't think it's yellow or something. Attack is orange. Speed is like something else. Super armor is purple. But even then, it's like, these effects are really nice for her. This is like, what is it? When you are playing a character and a wave changes or something happens in the game, the AI will not go and pick up these items she'll drop. In fact, whenever a wave changes or something happens, all the items are magnetized to whatever character you're playing as. If you are playing as Shizuru, all of these items will be absorbed to her. And when you're playing as somebody else, it will be like if I have like Shizuru, Tokiko, And like Eleanor, if I'm playing as Eleanor and roses drop and something changes in VR, like a wave happens, they will all be absorbed to like Eleanor because I'm playing as her. This is effectively a team effort item, team effort passive ability that she has. So, because people usually just leave Shizuru by herself when they play her in VR or any other content. So it makes it pretty useful in like Arena, where it's a fixed plane, and in VR, where you have to baby a whole team of people. It's a it's a passive that they really cooked on. It has its problems like I expected, but it certainly is very useful. We'll show it off when we go fight Ingrid later on. When Ragnarok and Damballa began fighting, a troop of Taimanins were on a mission not far from Misaki City. A three-man squad with Homer Now as the leader, and Shishimura Koko and Himuro Karen as subordinates. We were dealing with the demons residing in an old fort ground. Aw, dude, Boner Boy's back. There's literally our guy over here. Let's kill them all. I'll prepare my mirror. Now uses a ninja art involving light. Gathering light in the form of condensed light, she has perfect ninja art to the point where she can melt steel. Now, I've heard of this before. Obviously, Now is a boy. This isn't even like, like a gender fluidity situation. Like, he identifies as a male. He just dresses this way. So, this is another mistranslation situation where they just call it a he or a she situation. It's like it's not even like a identity problem. He identifies as a man. It's like whatever. And Karen's ninja art involves ice. Solidifying moisture in the atmosphere into ice as a means of combat, now she uses it as other means. There are plenty of places to hide in the fort grounds, and they were using this as an advantage to force the Taimanins back. Come on, condensed light, everybody. They could have destroyed the hiding places one by one, although that would have been inefficient. That's why he asked Karen for an ice mirror and reflect the deadly condensed light to attack the demons that were targeting it from the blind side. Oh, the light, we're gonna burn. Hiding in the blind spots meant they could hide less, so they hurriedly ran out from the fort. Even so, the condensed light didn't miss a single demon, burning them all. It's that skinny Taimanin, kill that one! One of them pointed his weapon at Now and yelled. The demons who heard him frantically rushed to Now. Koro! But Koro was there. Thin and weak, dark and emotionless like a hermit at first glance. Lacking in strength and stamina, only able to help from the back. But she has a sword in her hand. She pointed the sword, still in the sheath, and seemed much more intimidating. As the rare swordsman of the Ito Ryu draws her sword with the speed and skill unimaginable by her impotent appearance. The demons that lunged at him were all on the ground. Oh, what the? Thanks, Koro. Let's burn them all to the ground. Okay. I don't know, it looks like they've also extended the range on her normals because previously she would most likely end up missing that entire attack. Oh, is it all of them? Yeah, that's every last one of them, guys. And I see nobody left with my soul art. Mission accomplished, everybody. Now said as if a burden was lifted and took out his phone. To contact Ghost so that they had completed the mission. Yes, we've accomplished a mission. We'll head on back. I'm sorry? While Now contacted headquarters, Karen and Cora were looking around in the fort grounds as they were bored. Now's voice gradually hardens. Copy that. We'll check it out right away. They've lost contact with the Taimanin in Misaki City. That's nearby. Yeah, the demons here were no big deal. Maybe their boss appeared in the village or something. We better hurry. Let's go back there and head back to Gosha later. Karen and Cora agree with their captain now and ran down the mountain as fast as they could. They're magical, everybody. They fought in the city. When Now and the others arrived at Misaki City, they found the Taimanins who were guarding the city, and demons fell on the ground. This cold, it's still freezing out the area even after the battle. Now and Koro shivered upon feeling the cold. Karen, a frost artist, felt the temperature unusually plummeted. Okay, and thought whoever did this must use ice. No way, bro. I'll ask around with my soul art. Koro's ninja art, Soul Art Death's Record, is a ninja art that can retrieve information from the souls remaining on things just by touching them. Oh, dude, she's got Ghost Trick. That's awesome. Retrieving information from souls means you can not only gather scientific information such as the cause of death and DNA, but powerful resentment, evil thoughts, and memories. Dude, it's Dark Souls. We gotta get the Lord Vessel. This is, did they fight against a powerful female demon? Does it have to be a female? There are powerful male demons too, like Mr. Edwin Black. Did she attack both this demon and the guard? No. This guard is still alive, although he almost froze to death because it's so cold. Oh yeah? We should take him somewhere warm. Upon hearing Koro's remarks, Now brought the Taimanin who was dying from cold indoors. As he quickly recovered to normal body temperature after getting defrosted, it seemed he wasn't hurt anywhere else apart from being frozen. By the way, a demon fought against another demon in the middle of town? That's not a good thing to do. I don't hate Shizuru. I actually like Shizuru a lot. It's one of my favorite characters. However, the female demon flees to the underground so that she won't damage the town any further. At the end of Koro's eyes was an uncovered manhole. No way. Was she trying to save a human town? Or maybe she found a narrow place that would let her control her frost easily. From the point of view of the same frost artist, it's easy to control the frost in an enclosed area. Now smiled bitterly, thinking Karen always expects the worst. Well, it's definitely better to prepare for the worst. I think our job entails that. As Karen shrugged, Koro chuckled lightly. Oh, it's stinky and cold. I want to take a hot shower when we get home. Same here. This way, don't let your guard down. We're almost there. In the sewage where Now's group was marching, there were already lots of corpses of demons. They were all frozen to death, and they were all cold and hard as ice. Because Koro could retrieve information from the corpses using soul art, it was easy to understand where the female demon went during the fight. Although they could inevitably find her following the trail of corpses without it. I can hear them. No, I'm soggy one and only. It's like I don't think so. I like a lot of characters in this game. Like Shizuru is one of my favorites. I don't know exactly who hates Shizuru like extensively. I don't like Tokiko at all. Like I don't enjoy Tokiko in the first place. That's probably the one you're thinking of because I don't like her. I'll use her, but I use her with great chagrin because I understand it's like I'm not about to limit myself because of anger. I still have work to do. A few minutes later, the Taimanins could hear the clanking of swords. As they looked, oh yeah, it's a flat Oi Nagisa character. Isn't that fun to think about? And they're fighting. One was extraordinarily beautiful, even in the dark underground sewage. The others were the normal demons, and a Naga who looked like their boss was giving them orders. Who's the bad guy here? Bad guy? Well, I guess the woman who moved to the underground so they wouldn't harm the town is the good one. But I think I fear this frost. I felt this frost somewhere before. Maybe it's the same as Kiara. At least, it's similar. I don't think it's, I don't have a problem with kunai users. Just don't like Tokiko. I think it's more about a personal basis. Yeah, dude, Jeff, she's got nipples. That's great. It's like if she can get that nipple action, it's like let's bring back Asagi's official art where she's rock hard 25/8. That's my favorite. Kiara, you mean the Kiara Onasaki in the 3rd grade? How do I put this? The ice gives off the same vibes, almost like they're family. I feel like more Kiara's a real tom brap. She ain't calm at all. Dare I say she ain't cold as ice. As a frost artist, Karen felt the texture of the frost resembled Kiara, so she didn't find the blonde demon Ragnarok a stranger. By the way, there are so many of them. I believe that a lot more are down here. Presenting an attrition warfare in such a small place, although that means they have enough manpower to do so. Attrition warfare is a tactic where people take turns to fight against one opponent to tire them out. Wow. This attrition warfare is actually like a very pertinent idea inside Action Taimanin itself, because that is how you win in the arena. You just tire your opponent out through stalling, or you just like lose through a slight HP discrepancy. It takes a lot of resources to do that, and it's actually one of the worst ways to fight. In fact, it's when people are progressing through the tower, it's one of the ways that you have to play, because you can't just cut in like you're like a person who's been playing for years and years. You have to play attrition-based gameplay where it's trading hits with the enemy, or they can either heal, stay mobile, or just completely run you down because they have more resources than you do. I'm very glad this game makes mention to attrition warfare, because it's such a very specific sensation, and it's like that's one of my favorite things to call gameplay in this is attrition. It actually makes me really happy. And to do so, you have to prepare a number of manpower, and the enemies here still have tens of individuals to fight. Humans are on this side too. What? Taimanins are aware of this? If you bring reinforcements, it'll be troublesome. It's your bad day, so I'll have to eliminate you guys here. Well, I guess we don't have to worry too much about who to support then. How can you be so calm after seeing so many of them here? So what? We have you, Karen, and Koro. No one can defeat us. All right, if you say so there now. I missed. Oh, I need to show off what they did. We need to switch to blue later on. Because they changed several aspects. They changed one of Shizuru's other skills. I think it's like a plant. They changed Plant Invade and Queen's Whip. Queen's Whip now has like innate armor, and it also does like all of the hits. You don't have to keep mashing the button anymore. And then they changed Plant Invade to become like I forget what Ingrid's triple blue skill is called. It's like dark. They changed it to be like Dark Flame, but with 3 extremely slow, high damage projectiles. It's actually kind of nuts. We are unbeatable though. The small place was advantageous. It was easy for me to keep them in check with condensed light. It sure was. Although I could only make use of half of its power here since there was little light that I could control. Dude, he's like Superman. He requires the sun. If it weren't the case, he could have incinerated all the demons with a strike of condensed light in such a small place like the underground sewage. Well, it could hurt the blonde demon, but still, I don't think you're going to be hurting her very much. Who are you? Bro, I didn't kill no Taimanins. Did you like follow me or something? This said Ragnarok, pointing her sword at Nao's group. She obviously had a killing intent, but she didn't mean to hurt him. We are here to investigate the situation since we lost contact with Taimanins here in Misaki City, okay? So shut the hell up. Said Nao, the captain was sending others. And he raised both her hands, and oh my god, and he raised both his hands to show he had no hostility. It was a classic move, but Ragnarok let her guard down upon seeing he wasn't holding any weapons. That is not a very good picture to use because of Now's like double magnum rifle. Well, bruh, he's not lying. And like the conversation before, Kiara, who uses the same ice as me, Onisaki. Bro, that name is like... Ragnarok is very familiar with the name. Her husband, Onisaki Hajime, said the name Onisaki Kiara excitedly, saying their daughter needs a name for the human world. I believe you, bruh. I'm sorry for like pointing my gat at you. What? On the contrary, Now was so taken aback because he didn't expect her to believe him so easily like this. Not only was Ragnarok lowering her sword, but she apologized, which left Now, who was picking the next words to convince her, with no words. Then we have something to ask of you. Do you know the name Damballa? Karen was going to ask, but surprisingly, Koro, who had always been quietly hiding behind Now and Karen... God damn, that's a hard sentence to read. They always have these syntax problems. I hate it. Koro, who had always been quietly hiding behind Now, it doesn't need a comma, that's it. Behind Now and Karen, asked, stepping forward. The other two tilted their heads for their name that they hadn't heard. Well, that's the thing, though. These are translated from Japanese into English, and it feels like a lot of these are like translated like, you know, they're translated fine. They're readable sentences, but it's like they miss the syntax. It happens so often. It's just so painful to see because like I'm reading this, it's like it doesn't read like someone who speaks like native English, which is like, you know, I expect that it's a Japanese game. It's like they have to translate the nuances of English because that sentence doesn't read well because it probably represented something else in English. Bruh, I clearly remember the name. It's the name of a Naga who is against me. Might I ask, like, how you know that little bro's name? Well, I use soul art. I can retrieve information from souls. The name came to my knowledge while gathering information from the demons who fell. So, Miss Ragnarok. Soul art, huh? A ninja art that uses soul. Another ninja art that's different from his. Huh. I say Taimanin has got lots of abilities, even better than mine some cases. Because, like, localization is like... Everybody memes on localization and the fact that it's like, you know, oh, they make, like, certain political intrigue or just making it sound much worse than it actually does. It's the final step... It's the final step into making the thing actually readable and, like, readable in the first place. Like, honestly, I really feel like they should just come back, read what they were saying, read what was written down themselves, and then say it out loud to find out just, like, how weird, stilted the syntax for the sentences is and making it actually work out. It's that step that makes it go from, like, an amateur production to actually looking a little bit more professional. It also misconstrues some of the meaning. It's like that they are translated just done through AI. It doesn't surprise me that people are doing AI translations in the first place. Because before AI translation, it was machine translation. And before that, it was just doing fan translations and the stuff like that, where you had to actually learn. And even then, it's just like, it's rough to say the least. It makes it hard to read. Because it's like, in the beginning of the game, it feels like they actually got a contract with a real translation company. And then they, and it reads perfectly fine. It's got proper syntax. And then you have this where it has, like, you know, the machine or AI translated. And it reads like it does. And it reads like it was gone through those systems. It literally needs just cleanup. And people wouldn't even notice the problem. But it's just so noticeable in the first place. Like, it honestly makes me want to just go, like, if they finally release their, like, event archiver, just go back there and just give them a whole detailed, like, Google Doc of, hey, this is how this sentence is supposed to read, or it could read better this way. I digress, though. And more of the enemies will come. We destroyed a hideout of theirs, and it seemed that there's going to be more. A hideout in the ruins, the target of our mission? And Koro nodded to Karen. The demons are after you, Miss Ragnarok. They even informed all the troops that you were here. Bruh. Oh man, they're surrounding the underground of Misaki City. This is a bummer, dude. Yes. Since we followed you to this underground sewage... Okay, this is actually a really good example, too. They are in a sewer. Sewer is the noun of where the underground sewage, another noun, which describe it's another, like, it's a noun. It's also an adjective which describes waste. They are not in the sewage itself. If they were in the sewage, Ragnarok would have probably frozen it and they're standing on it, but they're probably standing off to the side on a scaffolding or something else to talk to her. They're not in the sewage, which is another translation problem too. They didn't go, they went there in the sewer, not the sewage. If they're standing in the water, that doesn't sound very likely. They want to probably stand somewhere else away from the enemies in a cleaner, safer spot. Because I don't think any of them want to be, like, they're dirty, but they don't want to be that dirty all the time. It doesn't make sense from, like, even a logical perspective. They live in an illogical world, but I don't think any of them want to get dirty from standing in human shit. There's that many. Don't you think we can get through them easily? We may be able to, but with Miss Ragnarok's help, we surely can. Oh, she's powerful, you bet. I think you know quite well about me. I do, but don't worry. Trust me, my mouth is shut. Too shut that I can't even hear you. Read the room, will ya? As now made fun of Koro, Karen gave him noogies. Upon seeing that, Ragnarok slightly smiled, which is very rare. Oh, I think you got good friends, Freya. Real good friends. These buddies are awesome. I mean, this game really predates, like, AI translation. It wouldn't surprise me if they put it through, like, a machine's translator or something in the first place to actually get it done on the initial run and just put it out there. Oh, already? Oh. Stay behind. We'll protect you. Koro, let's get rid of him. Good. Tens of minutes? What? Tens of minutes later, Ragnarok's group is cornered inside the sewer. The exit is blocked, and their way gets narrower and narrower as time goes on. No matter how many elements they take down, their numbers do not decrease. That needs a period, which makes them mentally exhausted. Even Ragnarok's beautiful face looks tired. Don't try to attack them all at once. Take your time and they'll be worn out. Do not underestimate the power of Ragnarok, who unified the Frost Phantoms. Is she that great? It seems so. While they were talking, waves of demons swarmed in, respectively. Respectively, they weren't strong, but there were many of them. For the past tens of minutes, they defeated so many demons they can't even count, but they still couldn't see the end of the line. Oh my, wow, this is bad. For the past tens of minutes, they defeated so many demons that they can't even count. That's a period. They still couldn't see the end of the line the remaining demons made. That's really bad. Oh man. That's not only hard to read, it doesn't make sense. In this situation, I'll incinerate them all with my condensed light. As the enemies align, Now's condensed light radiated, but since there's little light in the underground, his power wasn't at its full limit. They're doing this again, we already explained this. It could only burn the demons, but it was enough to make the enemies slow, which allowed Koro to take down some demons with her sword. Ugh, bro, we can't hold them until we get to the rendezvous point. Don't give up, Koro and I can still fight. Yes, and we too have an ace. We too? Does that mean they have? Now had questions about Koro's words, but soon the demon's attacks slowed down. At last, here we are, Shimura. I've waited for this moment all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Because although a lot of us were sacrificed, you are too exhausted to defeat Master Damballa, even if your frost is not threatening. The three were already surrounded by numerous demons. But, and it's a big but, Miss Damballa, what are you doing? Use your Kalia's skin and finish them off. Nice. But Damballa was completely frozen upon seeing Ragnarok. You. Me. You guys blind? The Ragnarok Ida doesn't have a slim body. She's calling her fat. She's calling her fat. Damballa pointed at Ragnarok's chest. They were not completely flat, but still slim. Nearly nothing. Oh, that's great. Karen in that case of mistaken identity. I'm not slim. Bro, I have them. They were bigger than ours. I guess she blew her cover. I used light art to cover her face and borrowed a cloak to cover her body, but I guess that has its limits. Don't worry. He'll grow up one day. Bro, don't sympathize with me. Who the hell are you? I'm Gosha's Taimanin Shizuru Karen. Karen, who was disguising as Ragnarok's cloak, and Ragnarok's cloak shouted out her name, though she was embarrassed and blushing. Over here, Karen. Give me my cloak back, bro. Miss Ragnarok. The real Ragnarok caught Karen's cloak when she threw it to her. And with that, the temperature in the sewer dropped suddenly. Ice Age. The three of you, great job. Now let a pro take over. No, we're Taimanins, we deal with demons. That's what we do. You can't just leave us all. You just can't leave us out all the way out here. You still need to recover more, so we can help. I've recovered enough, thank you. I got it. So she's been healing herself by using these kids as her shield. That means the report of her being worn out was not totally useless. Huh. If she's not in the best condition, then I've got a chance. Damballa pulled out something that she believes that she has the upper hand. It was the shed skin of the powerful demon, Kalia. Ooh, cool snake lady. You know what this is, bitch? Yeah, this is Kalia's husk. Even if it's just a shed skin with the power of a high-ranked demon inside, I can fight even you. I'll avenge the souls of my kin slain by you, by killing you, and the weaklings too, because people die when they're killed. With Damballa. With that, Damballa ate the skin. By consuming it, demonic powers took over her body, appearance, and even the quality of her demonic powers changed. What the fuck? This power, it's terrifying and dreadful. Her powers and quality have changed? The three were in awe, but Ragnarok stepped forward like their shield. Kill him? Did you just threaten to kill these little dudes, bro? Killing the friends of my daughter. The temperature plummeted around her. The walls, the thick stream of filth, dead bodies, and even flowing blood. They were freezing. Bro, if you even dare touch him, I'm gonna kill you before you could even scream. This ends here and now, Damballa. Should use Kiara for this. That was hard to read. It's not even like, oh, I have trouble reading as a grown man. No, that was hard to read because it's all over the place. Like they have like bad translations, but it's like they're like mostly readable. That was hard to read in every capacity. Kalia! Damn, I wish Snake Lady was in the game. She'd be really cool. That'd be the character I wish they would like. Let's make a transformative ult. Because only Sue has that one now, and it's like, just make Kalia turn into Snake Lady as your ult. That'd be great. All right, let's see what happens. Let's. We told that baby to freeze. Ooh, finally, an exit. You said sewers! What is that? You've been saying sewage for the last fucking 15 minutes, and now you say sewers? What is that? Oh, it stinks. I think the smell permeated on me. It's a sewer. What are you talking about? I escaped into the sewers to prevent the village from being damaged, but I'm sorry you had to get caught up in it. Ragnarok, who came out last, bowed her head, and Karen hurriedly shook her. No, if it weren't for you, Miss Ragnarok, we'd have also been in danger. Tell me about it. That last one especially. It would have been hard to escape alone. Bruh, that's Kalia's skin. The shed skin of Kalia, a powerful little demon. All knew from the skin itself it just had powers residing in it or something. But bro, that changed their form by eating it? Ugh, gross. But actually, informative, little dude. Maybe you should try it too. You get a bigger snake out of it. Even Ragnarok didn't know its results, so she was surprised a little. However, it made Now's group realize that her ice was much more powerful and malignant than that of the skin. She's also a snake, and snakes don't like cold weather. They're cold-blooded, dude. The three of you helped me out a lot, but now then, I have to go somewhere else. My planet needs me. Ragnarok stepped away from the trio with her cape fluttering in the wind. For now, she didn't mean to have any connection with the Taimanin, at least not yet. Wait, we know you're not a bad person, but as Taimanins, we need to know why you're here in the human world. Please, tell us. Now and Karen held their weapons up. Even Cora was frustrated because of the power difference, putting her hand on the sword. Yes, I wanted to ask the same thing. Huh? Oh my god! I hurried over here because they told me they lost contact with the Taimanins. But why is the boss of the Demon Mafia, Banshee, here? Dude, it's Team Mom. What's her? Demon Mafia? Then Miss Ragnarok? A dangerous person? Ragnarok liked her group. Liked Now's group, truly. Not because they had fought with her, because through their conversations she felt they were close to her daughter. Being treated as a dangerous person by them, and because they had a chance to walk away in silence, made her, as Ragnarok, pissed off. Quite scary. Were you up to something bad in the human world? Well, brah, if you wanted to know, it was with your skills. The voice was even lower and colder than when she confronted Damballa. Ooh, it's a face-off, making shivers down their spines. Because they have been trained as Taimanins and confronted demons, they know. They know what they face when they face an inescapable death. Now's group literally crouched in fear from the inside. Monsieur Nui, you're going too far. I'm not going far enough. Because it's okay. Sometimes you need to shake them up to hear them tell the truth. At the right place at the right time there, Taimanin. And with that, an ice blade and Naginata collided under the heavy atmosphere. Ooh, showdown. We haven't fought Shiranui in forever. How interesting. Oh, it uses their updated model too. That's great. Later, Mom. Because she's actually a pretty devastating fight if you let Shiranui get out of control. Bruh, you challenge me with those pitiful skills? Ugh. She's strong. Even her blade is sharp. Shiranui was surprised at Ragnarok's skill. Most of the demons fight humans by overwhelming them with physical strength and demonic powers. However, Ragnarok was only facing Shiranui purely with her blade skills. But still, Shiranui could feel that her opponent wasn't doing her best. Chills went down her spine as she remembered Astaroth from Kotara. As Ragnarok and Shiranui both shared their slashes, suddenly Ragnarok's blade weakened. It was a subtle change, and the three people watching the fight couldn't notice it. However, Shiranui was fighting against her noticed it immediately. She was hot-headed at first, but she would be in an awkward situation if she killed a senior Taimanin in front of her daughter's friends. Besides, if she was their senior officer, she might as well be her daughter's senior. Shiranui couldn't have possibly realized the reason, but following her lead, she started to weaken her attacks too. Despite all that, revealing her status because of a pitiful reason, and making those younglings look at her like that behavior couldn't be overlooked. So just this once, Ragnarok blew Shiranui away with her Naginata with a strong blow. Oh yeah, two JPEGs fighting, I love it. Miss Shiranui! Although Ragnarok wasn't expressing it, she was quite surprised too. Judging from Shiranui's skills during the fight, she wouldn't have been blown away that easily. She was supposedly faking it, so Ragnarok didn't let her guard down. At this rate, we should throw ourselves in to stop Miss Ragnarok. Yes. Obviously they were weaker than those two, but they couldn't let Shiranui lose without doing anything. Now and the team tried to intervene to stop Ragnarok. However, Shiranui conjured up a wall of water with her water arts. Ragnarok noticed them too, so she froze the wall. These three couldn't even join the fight because of the wall of ice made by them. This is our fight. We have to do this with a one-on-one. Bro, what are you doing? I lost, Miss Shinomura. You know who I am? Only me and a few high-ranking officials of Gosha. I'm sorry that I tested you. Shiranui bowed her head. Now couldn't see what was happening inside the wall of ice. Shiranui wanted this to be private, so she used said water art. I wanted to have a little conversation. You understand, don't you? We both have daughters. After a couple of minutes, Now is using condensed light to melt the ice, and it suddenly shattered. I'm fucking done here. I talked to Shiranui about the situation, so I'm going. Sure. Don't let the humans see you too much. Now, let's go back, kids. Well, are we okay? Of course. We just had a little of a private conversation, you know. Oh, that's... Karen looked between Shiranui and Ragnarok for a few minutes, and then bowed toward Ragnarok before heading home. That ice. It certainly does feel similar to Kiara's. Then, until we meet again. Lastly, Koro said her goodbyes and left. She looked pretty sure that they would meet again. Meeting again, huh? Ragnarok smiled bitterly and walked in the opposite direction, towards the home of the Onisakis, where her loving husband and daughter had lived together. All this girl was trying to do was go back to the house, and it's like, no, I got jumped. Look at that. Amazing. It actually gives nice insight to Ragnarok. You know, despite, well, Seymour, we made it, despite their directions and also their massive syntax problems, it actually gives a little bit of important insight to who Samara is. Because this now allows us to understand that, like, oh, she is not only Kiara's mom, she's also a high-ranking demon that is similar in strength to Astaroth. So who knows? It's like Astaroth's all about fire, and she commands the fire realm and everything like that. So maybe, just maybe, we'll have like the ice version of that. These are blue supporters. Where is it? Oh, each buff. That's that one. That one. This is actually a nice supporter too. That's good for whatever game mode it is. I can't find the supporter. Where is she at? There she is. Koro is actually a pretty cool supporter because she gives a massive critical hit rate boost just for simply existing. Humans, demons, they're all fighting against each other for supremacy in the world. It's unbelievable to say the least. Let's see, Whip Grip, Sprout Guard. We don't need Sprout Guard, and we're not even, oh, let's Queen's Whip. That's perfect. Oh, uses Whip Shots command. Actually, yeah, we can use that. They don't show it in this game, but God damn it, I'm losing my mind. Samara herself has the ability to. She fights using a rapier. So, I imagine that's similar to how everybody's favorite Chocolate Knight Ingrid. That's how she fights too. So with that aspect alone, it's like maybe people are already speculating that she may share weapons with Ingrid, which I wouldn't mind that because like so many other people, many people's Ingrids are insanely highly geared in the first place, which is just fine. I love myself some Ingrid. She's one of my favorite characters. So having her actually just being like an absolute force of nature, so making Samara like a force of nature that's like unstoppable from day one, yeah, that's great. That's fun to say the least. That's not something I mind at all because it's like, all right, that's that's less resources I have to commit in actually having to like level up the character, because obviously when you're making a new character and you have to level them up from scratch, and they don't have they have unique weapons. Because this is the thing that's like, it just gets worse and worse as time goes on, because Lord help me. It's like, because every time I'm playing this, it's like, I don't know, sometimes I think to myself like, oh boy, a character got a new weapon, that means it's going to take like a significant hit to my resources to actually get them going. Because it takes like a certain because if it's taking a certain amount for like even me, because like I remember when Francis came out and she has a unique weapon class and everything, I honestly started to dread it a little bit, because it's like, all right, it's gonna take me 50,000 arena coins to get her a usable weapon, and then it turned out it was going to be the only usable weapon for her until she got her limited weapon. And even then, like, the limited weapon is like, and even then the limited weapon for her is like the answer to her problems. I didn't like that. I will remain to the end of my days disappointed for like that they did the actual effort to, okay, let's do the good old $35 patch. Let's have a gotcha weapon that, like, it solves the innate problem that was with Francis, and they just made it a paid solution. Like, I really don't like that. But this is the one thing I really enjoy about Plant Invade, because when you have the full set, it's just projectiles, and you just like you throw it down, and she just like vomits damage all the time. Like I'm legitimately impressed that it's like it goes from being like, because the original was like it's 3 separate projectiles, and it's like you can have a shotgun effect up close. Now it just turns into Dark Flame times 3. It doesn't do exactly the same amount of damage as Dark Flame does, but boy is it effective. Like look at that, if you position it correctly, she just like totally floors the entire just floors the entire mission. No, this is actually something I've learned to enjoy this as time has went on, because now I don't have to worry anything about the stinking 30 getting 30 hits in the first place, because now it's like that's actually one of the hardest things to do for these missions is getting the hits, because wow, who would have thought the stronger you get and the less hits it takes to defeat an enemy is actually a detriment at that point. So now the question remains, what do you guys think of little Samara in the first place? Because, well, here's the thing about this. I don't like the fact that they called the supporter Ragnarok instead of her actual name. That kind of makes it a little more annoying to classify, because her name is Samara, like we call Kiara. We don't call her Freya. God damn, actually playing Shizuru again in like normal stages reminds me of like how difficult it is for her to do anything normally. Because everything that she has to do like to fight normally is like she gets interrupted in any way, shape, or form, and you have to play from like a deficit from like in every stage. This is probably why Plant Invade got changed to be the way it is. To be a slow moving projectile so it can cover the entire field at once. Oh, Jeff, that's not exactly the attitude it needs, because it's like it's the last step that is really required to make the translation readable for the most part. Because it's like, yes, we were able to infer the idea of what was being said in like today's little event, but even then it's like, oh, that's right, Plan Invade activated. We were still able to infer what was said, but it's like, boy, was that like that was a shitty read in the first place. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't ever. And yet we have to deal with that sort of thing because nobody decides to do the cleanup. It's effectively what the localization team does. but because they're the final step in the process, they usually take it upon themselves to make the message said into something that what they believe in. It's effectively like what working designs would do for like 90s JRPGs or something like that. Because not only would they actually just change like dialogue in the game itself, they would change mechanics too and make the game like unnecessarily harder for some reason. Like it didn't need to do that, but they did it anyways. And then when you finally get like the revised version of a translation or something, because like to some they could say it's like there's a degree of soul in there or whatever, because they have like the person who did the it's like they have like what, it's like I don't know if they did Lufia 2 or something like that. It's like they have people calling each other retards and shitheads or something. It's like that's fine. That just feels like, because it feels like it's something like people would translate. It's like, oh dude, it's just bros translating the game. It's a translation by gamers for gamers or something. Yet it also ends up missing the it just makes for a less efficient read. I don't know. It's more or less, it creates a lost in translation situation for the wrong reason. Dude, Tokyo Pop is like, I haven't heard of that name in years. I remember like man, it's been like years since I've heard of them in the first place. Because I remember they had like, my friend had like some sort of like manga that they had printed in English, and like after reading that one, like he was reading the volume of it, and it's like the it started falling apart because the binding broke, like the glue for it, because like it's some like cheap adhesive. Because I think he kept it in his backpack and it got warm or something. So like thanks to thermal cycling, the adhesive broke apart, and it just like. And like the book fell apart in his backpack. That's my Tokyo Pop experience. is their fucking book binding destroyed my friend's like copy of, I don't remember what manga it was. It was like some guy who had like it was like volume 2 of this series or something, and it had like yellow on a cover and it had like a black claw or something like that. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's like, even then it's like, it made me laugh. What a hunk of junk, to say the least. You know, I can see why people have oh, we're in bonus section. Oh, we're in the bonus stages. I'm like, what are you talking? Why are these enemies suddenly so hard for some reason? Oh, it's because we're in the fucking bonus stage. You know, it's hard for me to think about in the first place. Like, Ikitosen is from like the early 2000s as well. Does Tokyo Pop still even do like releases these days in the first place? I imagine since we have like so many other more prolific and less nutty publishers, to say the least, it makes you wonder, is Tokyo Pop just now like a parent company of like English translation for like commercial releases of novels or something, or do they actually still do all that stuff in the first place? Because I have not heard of them in like years. Like this, like you talking about that, Jeff, is like the first thing that made me like remember that they even exist in the first place. Because there's like nothing going on with them for the most part. Do we got a dash dance like it's Super Smash Bros. How you doing there, Aaron? How you been? We're farming Team Mom over here because I wanted to show off some Shizuru stuff. Let's show it off in green because I want to use green because it also has a skill that I never use in the first place. Because I never use Queen's Whip. I'll just say that much. I don't use it because like you can't get out of the skill ever. You have to wait for it to complete. And now you just have to sit there and wait for it to finish again. Like, it's a cool skill, don't get me wrong. It's just very annoying. It has super armor now. But it's just very annoying to see her like, all right, there we go. You got it, girl. Go fucking nuts. Whip, grip, plant, invade. Let's see if it actually changed that one for it, though. I just like having skills I can constantly use. Well, Mr. Burgers, we'll have to probably check that out later, since we have like actually a lot of stuff we have to do for the most part. Yeah, this is also how Queen's Whip works. You no longer have to mash the button now. You also can't get out of the attack either, so if something happens, you're just gonna get the shit beaten out of you for the most part. Pretty cool attack. Really, really makes you feel bad for good old Shizuru over here. Because now she's just stuck. She's just stuck getting her, she's just stuck having to complete the whole thing by herself. It's like, yep, there you go, baby girl. You're doing a great job. But other than that, though, her renewal has been quite very nice to have. I appreciate the changes made to it. She still has a lot of the same problems that she does in the first place, so it actually isn't like, you know, such a groundbreaking renewal like it is for someone like Ingrid or so she doesn't actually have super armor anymore. Okay. Oh, I love camera glitches. Go get him. Whoop her ass. What's another character I'd like to see get a renewal? I want a renewal for Micah that makes extensive changes to her. I want a renewal for Micah that makes her not play like shit. Because now Micah actually has a use outside of VR again. Because actually Micah does a pretty good job in good old Total War. Because guess what Micah does that she's always done very well in VR is to stay the hell away from the enemy. And she also has field effects that enemies, when they stand still on them, they just sit there and like take tons and tons of damage. It's pretty great. It makes me happy that it's like, you know, alright, she actually has a niche that works out for her. And guess what? Now that she just sits there and gets her ass handed to her all the time in like most content. Because you can't equip her basic attack onto AI, because the AI will sit there and charge it every time and never ever attack again. I very much wish they would have integrated her Taimanin art into her basic string. It does not need to be one of the worst in the game. It just doesn't. Because for the most part, she's a very, very fun character to play, as long as you're not basic attacking, because she's very mobile, because she has to be. She has to be mobile because the stupid shit that happens is like, alright, she has to, like, I think, the whole animation for her firing off one bullet almost takes like 1.5 seconds. Because she has to, hoist up the launcher onto her shoulder. She has to fire the bullet, and then she has to put it back down. She can't hold it while she's moving. She can't do anything like that. It's honestly a really, it's just a straight detriment to use it every time. Like, I don't know why it didn't have the charge just built straight into it in the first place. Now I have to ask myself this. Where is she? Does she have a hold skill? She does. No, that's during basic attack strings. Like, this should have been her normal like 3 equipped Taimanin art, and this should have been like inherently built into her character. Because like this is just like the hold, this is like the hold itself skill. Because none of her other skills have this attribute with them. Why not? Let's just use her. It's actually one of the saddest situations for Micah is that she's already had her limited weapon and everything like that, and it sucked. I hate this. I hate that so much that she just has to do the entire animation. Because it cuts down her mobility so much. What characters would you guys like to see get a renewal in the first place? Like, we already heard Tarinko to get hers again. She certainly needs it. I would like them to go back to just have like, alright, we're gonna have one big update, and characters who don't have like an innate passive, they get one now. I guess when they started doing the renewals in the first place, they weren't thinking about like, okay, let's give characters passives, because they were doing renewals before they did before they like added passives to characters. Because man, boy, would that be certainly pretty good to have in the first place. Jeez, Phantasma. Because who wouldn't love to have a passive that's on the same level as like Lapis or Spinel, where they both have like team usage and they're also like really, really effective. Sakura could definitely use one, because like Sakura has like what, she's like the third one who ever got hers in the first place, and even then it's like, I think from what I remember that with Sakura's it was like a pretty good change. But here's the thing, like Sakura's was so long ago, and I don't play a lot of Sakura in the first place. Like I mostly have her just for like just to have her. She's probably on like the bottom end of like my used characters in the first place, because it's like I can't even remember what they actually changed with Sakura in the first place. No, they made a few of her skills not crap. That's what they did for her. Let's get some Sakura action, see how that does. Because if I can't remember, it's like, where's Sak? Yeah, where's Sakura? That 5-5, yeah, it's in their copy of Garukiba. I think it did more damage. CD reduction. Speed. No, I think they changed Shadow. An aspect about Shadow Spin. And I think something with Claw. Fling, I remember, got changed to something else. From something else. Like, it was just very small little tweaks for Sakura. I'm a demon, Sakura. I'm a demon. There you go, Sora. I don't know. I'm probably like one of those. I'm also one of those guys. Like, I don't like Sakura very much. She just doesn't really have a lot going for me on that. It's just like, yep, you are my favorite character, sister, and that's like about as much as I'm gonna have interest in you. Like, I'm very sure, I know many people like Sakura in the first place. She is consistently, like, she's annoying, but she is still pretty popular for the most part. Like, that is not going to change. Like, I know many people enjoy Murasaki. I personally don't. And I live with that. I live with that idea every day. Because I remember, what is it? It's like the legend goes that Kagami himself is like, you know, oh, he was a really big fan of Nami and Robin from One Piece. So he was like making fan art of them. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just make my legally distinct Robin and Nami, and I'll make them as characters for my game. For like this project I got signed up onto, and that's what. And then the rest is history. We have Nami and Robin that exist as characters in this game. And even then, it's like in One Piece itself, I prefer the solid, strong demeanor of Nami, but not Nami, of Robin, but also that it's like I can certainly appreciate what Nami brings to the table. But even then, both of them have just been reduced to like the fat tits club in the manga. I hear Sakura is getting her like one of her adult forms in RPGX because they're gonna be having Gosha Fest soon, so it would give like Cyborg Azusa and also like Super Shadow Ninja Sakura or something like that. Like obviously, you know, our girl over here, she's the master of the shadows in the first place. But then she has the ability to like, cause like it's the one that's like she has the black cats on them in there. Though I think this has already happened, and I was just seeing like a poster for it, like many months in the future. Splate. I always love using what is it? It's not Nether Charge, Nether Dive. Nether Dive is just so fun to use because it's like she just goes up there and just like stomp, just like the funny stomp. Like she's fucking Wario or something. Can we have that? Can we have like? Oh, that just got me thinking because I was gonna ask like, can we have a Wario mod for Sakura? And a Waluigi mod for Asagi, because then it made me remember. It's like, oh yeah, nobody does mods for this game anymore. Like honestly, like nobody wants to touch this game in the first place. Because if you didn't know, this game used to have a pretty this game used to have nude mods and everything like that, and they were like. Those little things are always such a massive chore to maintain, like mods for gacha games, because the APK or like the game itself gets updated like every week, so you have to make the mod work, like, you know, every single week for the next like how many ever years it's going to be up. So it's a futile effort, and which is probably why it never continued in the first place. She's assist, yeah. Like honestly, since it's like it was made years and years ago when the game first started, I imagine it won't even work in the first place anymore. Because it probably pulls from different things in the first place now. Let's put it on, put white on there. White woman spotted. Mochi sword style, the most busted ass thing to fight. Grenade. Scorpiones and Storm. Before I missed it in its ocean. What a fucking travesty. One of my greatest regrets for this channel is like when Nagi released. I never did anything for her. I actually skipped the month of December because things were happening and I needed to get them done. By not doing anything for that, people didn't know who the hell Nagi was, and it really hurt her like impressions for the most part. Because now people know, and it took like a long time for people to realize, like, oh yeah, Nagi, yeah, she's really good. Do you know why she's good? It's because she's a absolute goddamn powerhouse, and like one of the game's few perfect characters. She deserved a lot more coverage than I refused to give her. Like, I understand others have gone out there and made anything for it, but I know why people come here. They like to see what the new character does and find out how they work. I didn't do that for her, and I never did anything for her in the future or anything like that, so it created a great detriment. It was only until we really started getting into VR and people were looking for things for debuff extension on mass Taimanin and other enemies. It was only then that the people ever really see the benefit of like her, Rin, Nagi, not Spinel. Nagi's, what? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind here, folks. I'm forgetting Rin and Nagi, Felicia for debuff extension, and also Kurenai. Like, those are characters people usually did not think about in terms of like doing that, and actually let people see Nagi in like a better spotlight, because it also helped people realize that guess what she does? She does ungodly amounts of damage, and she's extremely durable. It's something that like should have been noticed a long time before. But nothing happened. And now people use her all the time. They put her in compositions where she can just like, she can be left alone just like Rin. She's pure DPS, and it's like they don't like. I don't even think like Gremory itself cares anything at all about Nagi. Well, I don't know. They do, because they gave her like a really good, a really nifty limited weapon, and also probably one of my favorite limited costumes in the game, because it's so cool looking. Because I love the legend of Yojimbo, and she gets to be Yojimbo. So that's a winner for me. But Nagi herself deserved a little bit more recognition. Because it's like, also, I think I've said this before, but Nagi herself was like not, nothing was done with her in the first place in terms of like support by Gremory. Like, they didn't do anything specifically for Nagi, because I think her and Rin are the first characters to ever share a weapon. That was like a huge thing at the time, because it's like nobody's ever done that before. Everybody's been unique. And it obviously drew criticism in the fact that it's like it's a lazy way out to make characters share weapons, because that way they can save on resources and cut back somewhere else, which has been very evident. But even then, it's just like they didn't do anything to just like, they did not ride the wave from the fact that Rin was an extremely popular character that they got in the game, and they did not take this form of momentum and use the power of Rin to help get people knowledgeable about Nagi. Like why couldn't they just do a little 4-coma about like how Rin and Nagi share weapons in the first place? I remember I've talked about this before, because I had a fun scenario for it. I think it went like, Rin and Nagi are both called onto a mission, and since they both share the same weapon category, and they both they're both dual sword users. So Rin grabs Nagi's gear, and Nagi grabs Rin's, vice versa. Say they have so it would be like they share weapons, and it's like since they share weapons, they would grab each other's weapons, and then like when they're getting ready to run out the door, they notice like they both grab like fucking, like, what is it? Like, he, Nagi grabs Fragrage and, like, no, she has Nagi, like, Rin has Muramasa and Mume, and it's like the weapons feel weird in the first place, and they complete their, and they run back to the base, and it's like, and they both run into each other and ask the same question. Hey, have you seen my weapons? I grabbed the wrong ones. And it just shows it's like that they share weapons. Because that's a thematic thing. They can introduce two concepts. Characters who share weapons, and then they can both use them, they can both switch them around, vice versa. Yeah, the comic would end with them trading like that. That's such a fun idea. I wish they did something on that level. Rin's race car scene was pretty good. Though I'm not exactly, like, you know, into the latter of what happens, because I guess for some reason, like, okay, we're getting cucked out here for some reason. Because, like, Rin's scenes are, like, obviously all based around that sort of thing. Because it's like, that's her thing. They design her character to be, like, NTR bait. Oh my god, no! No, it was probably one of those, like, Rin's drugged up for some reason, and you as the viewer are tied up in a chair for some god-awful reason, and she has to go polish some pole like she's, you know, like she's an absolute professional at it for some reason. I think we've used about like 3,000 something AP at this point, so now I'm wondering, like, okay, I'm probably close to, I'm either at or just almost there for the amount needed. Stabe. You gotta pop mom's implants over there. Oh yeah. Alright. Now we'll leave that alone. I'm gonna go to the fucking bathroom. Oh, that's right. You have to see the supporter again, and then finish that up. My roommate's out there playing Yakuza 1 for the PS2. That is honestly like that's an adaptation. Like, 'cause I remember when Yakuza 1 was out there and on shelves, it's like I didn't care for it. I didn't have I never got a PlayStation 2 until I was in like at least like in I think I was finally in like middle school when I was almost like 12 or 13 when I finally got it, and it's like I only ever played like Grand Theft Auto and a few games on it. Because obviously like good old wow, what is it called? It's Yakuza for the PS2 itself is like it's okay at best, but everybody knows Yakuza now through its modern remastered interpretations. And honestly, that game is like it gets for the better as time has went on, because the original game, it's pretty bare bones. It's mostly supposed to show like the level of detail and like that team has done in terms of like making the one city more and more detailed as time has went on, like, and doing it as they travel through time. It's a really cool thing to do, because like when you play the PS2 Yakuza, it's like it's pretty. If you go from like the modern like Zero and the Kiwami to those, it's like it's really bare bones. However, I really enjoy that they got Mark Hamill of all people to play Majima. I cannot imagine anybody better for the role in English. Like, my goodness, what a thematic choice. Because all he has to do is just play the Joker. That's it. He gets to play Mark Hamill's Joker, and he's an absolute godsend at that. Let's see, if for another Rinko renewal, your first thing would be like making Ichinokata drop Rinko from the sky faster to decrease the chances of her getting knocked out of the air. How about just giving her armor on the whole, on the skill itself, so she can actually complete it without getting smacked out of the air? I don't even think it's not even like a matter of speed situation. Just give her the ability to continue the whole thing. Damn it. Well, here's the thing though, like using an HP recovery ability with Rinko is like, I can certainly understand where they want to come from on that sort of thing, where it's like, alright, you need to decide between whether or not you want damage or do you want, do you want damage or do you want the ability to have like, to heal? So it's like you have to like lean into a certain play style rather than just being a strong generalist, which is kind of what I kind of like it when you have to build into those facets in the first place, because it makes you have to think about how a build will work in the first place. That's not that's why like it's annoying that it's like the skill is tied to the same input, but it also makes you have to make a decision regarding your setup. That's traditionally how one of the game would normally play out, because it makes you have to like, you have a decision you have to make. Do you want to go all in on damage, or do you want to be a generalist that takes more time to do things, but you'll live longer? That's like been the number one complaint I've seen with Rinko in the first place, because I've made the same complaint myself. But then I realized it's like, no, Rinko doesn't want to heal. She doesn't need to heal. Actually, now she doesn't even need to heal in the first place, because Lapis exists and she does that all by herself. No, it's like Rinko wants to do as much damage as possible. Because I mean, it just makes sense. It just feels like it's right to do so. Because I want to look at that now. It's like give that to the Asagi skill that does the same. Nope, not that one. I gotta go here. Momochinagi. Because that's not Kochorambu. Because Rakusenka is just fine with that. It's because it's either between you want to deal like this is obviously a very, very strong skill and that's really good for Asagi. It's awesome. And it only shares an input with Shusenka. It's either do more damage or do more damage that actually and do damage that has the healing together. So it's like it's nice. It solves itself. Because I think, what is it? The shift has like, no, I'm thinking of her finisher. Who knows? Maybe they could have just put all her healing on the finisher itself because that's input agnostic for the most part. Because it happens after every one of her skills. Because that would be really nice for her. Like, alright, she does wind slice and then she can do like the finishing slash to have her just like go up there and heal. That would be fucking awesome to say the least. I'd like that because like what is it? She has everybody Violet Slash. That's it. Violet Slash is like they'd have that because they could keep the one that does critical damage boost that makes it jump up by like 80%. That they can keep that. I think one of them is stun and another is a 100% slow for 1 second. I don't exactly understand that. Until like I didn't understand what that really meant. However, that means also it's like you can use that in the arena to stun somebody and stun them by not stunning them. Like, what am I supposed to do with 100% slow for 1 second? By the time the 1 second is up, like, you effectively just use that as a repositioning tool at that point. And even then, it's like, you can get better results out of other things, you know? It's okay. It's okay, Rinko. You don't have to worry about it. It's fine. Just a weird thing. It's just a weird choice. Rinko has just always been full of weird choices, to say the least. Oh my lord. Well, at least we managed to get the crappy supporter. Ah, fuck, I just realized that. We need to do the... I should have put that on, oh yeah, blue. We need green, because we gotta put Ice Mommy on there. Where is she? She's green, isn't she? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, bros, we can't find Shimara. Oh, there she is. God damn. Freezing blast. Oh no, Ice Mom is too powerful. She's going to freeze her enemies to death. I cannot believe what I am seeing. Fantastic. See, she uses this same pose in her RPGX art. And she's holding a saber at the same time. So that's where people are getting the idea, like, is she gonna do that? That sounds like a cool idea. I hope I can see her do that. Look out everybody, he's joking. He's joking everybody, he's going to start hurting everybody in the way. Oh no. Is Ragnarok a good support? In most situations, I'd say no. She's not a good support. However, she's really good at one place at one time, and that's called Total War. If you want to play Total War like an asshole, and you got nothing else to do, yeah, she's really worth it. She's just way too niche to see any kind of use outside of there. Little girl, I do not approve of your choice of the man. You know what I just realized? It's the fact that you have to have the limited supporter when they have the event running at the same time in order to get more information about the interaction. Yeah, because we have to go, we gotta level up Mom of the Year. I think when I remember, I calculated this before. It takes 17,000 experience to completely level up a supporter's affection to 5. Which in my case, it will take 6 runs, I think, to do. Well, I mean, most of the time you use Samara specifically for like the bonus damage in against an enemy, against a frozen enemy. If it plays out a lot better, like if Samara turns out to have like this wicked ass, like, you know, oh, she does a bajillion damage because she has like freezing all over the place. So instead of just like a 40% chance every 5 seconds, she can do it like a million times a second or whatever. I just noticed that. Look at that. 3,456 ascending numbers. You gotta check that get, bro. Check them out. But no, most of the time it's like, you don't really need to worry about, like, you can do just fine without Samara. It's fine. We need to actually check again to see, like, all right, what does the top listing look like? Because they use Samara. They do something specific with her. It's like, obviously it's just to freeze extensions and stuff for more damage. It also immobilizes black when it happens. Like, it's just a useful tool in more than one way. But it's just like, most people will never ever find a use for that supporter. Because it's such a specific effect, and it takes so much resources to actually make it worthwhile, that you have to be at that point where they're just like pulling 10 million relays just for the fun of it. Here's a good thing to ask. The winter storm system has been passing through my area, and we've gotten 2 different like sections of snow in the same week. like Sunday into Monday was like one of the best days I've had at work in a long time, because nobody nobody was at the place I work, or at all. So it was like one of the easiest days I've had. Like on Sunday and Monday, there was barely a soul in the building. And then it's like yesterday into today, there was another snowstorm that came through, and it was on my day off. But it's like, it was just really nice to see. It was just really nice to have, like, it was an easy money situation at work, and I wasn't worried about having to get there, even through such shitty weather. I don't know. Some of you guys, it's like, I don't know where you guys are all at, but that's the weather in my area at least. I think I'm probably the only person who's like, you know, you obviously will play up the whole like, oh dude, snow, it sucks. No, I like the snow. I like it a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite things because, one, nobody goes out in the snow except for people who just like enjoy that sort of stuff the same way I do, because nobody wants to go out in the snowstorm because it's always just hard to move around in. I don't mind it. It's all part of the adventure for me. Aren't you in like Texas or something there, Raptor? Because it's like, what? I imagine it's like, it is. Does it get ever freezing down there for the most part? Well, I know it does because they had like the big Texas ice storm or something. The electric company turned off the power in the city. I wonder how many problems that created for people. Because like whenever it gets cold around here, and we got snow twice this week, and that's like all the lights stayed on. It certainly takes a lot more than that just to make sure to make the lights turn off in here at least. There, we got a copy of Karen. We completed our event stages. Event stage. Event stage. Daily quest. Oh, we have to do. Oh, we gotta do the daily quest. Gerald, they tell us they have to do the daily quest. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it, Peter. What are they doing at the daily quest? Here, we're gonna use the wrong type of setup on Demon Mission, but it's also gold daily, which means I have all the. No, I don't need to do gold so much. Can't show that? Okay. 20,000, 29, 16, 10. Okay, we need more ingots. It's cold wind. It's like, well, we get cold winds a lot here up north. Meow, meow, meow. You've never seen snow until your 20s. It's like, I see snow every single year. I guess this is like when someone moves from like New York or something, and they come over to like the north or the Midwest, and they see like there's a bunch of trees and cornfields and soybeans. Like it's something so commonplace and so regular around here that it feels second nature. Because for the most part, it's like where I used to live, it's like there was a field in front of the house, like all the time. Like we go play in there, and like with the bobcats and well, not the bobcat. We take out the quad or like the RZR or something like the Polaris, and just drive around in the field over there, just mudding around. It's so much fun. My goodness, she just straight up one-shotted her. Because remember when I heard about like that big Texas ice storm that happened like a few years ago or something? It's like, you know, what's typically a regular sort of snowstorm or like cold snow or cold time of year for like the northern part of the country, that's like it completely incapacitated like the entire like a good portion of Texas from what I remember. It was weird to say the least. I guess it would be like the Philippines or something getting like a random like glacial level like a big polar vortex to appear in the middle of the Philippines or something like that, like because they don't have to winterize or anything like that. Obviously there is like, you know, they are in like the northern hemisphere of the world, from what I remember, so it's like that or they're like on the equator, so they never get anything like that. It wouldn't make sense for them to because of their location geographically. But it's like, it's such a damning experience when it happens. Fucking come on, Eleanor. Oh my god. That's not enough. I think it's like 8. No, I need to do 8 of them. I've only done 6. Oh, it's only 50. I thought it was like 100 too. Okay, let's awaken Hamura Karen. Or you get to play in the deep snow and made a snow angel, a snowball fight, made a small snowman. Amazing. We got 8 inches of snow here on Sunday. I didn't even think about making a snowman. Well, I didn't so much have to think about that because like I spend... What usually happens for me is like I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up to go to work. I don't usually get up and do things before work. I don't like doing that. Though even though it's like on Monday I have to go to the car dealership and do some stuff before work. I hate that because it's like I could have used that time to sleep. I want to do that on my days off, not anything. I'm not doing that like before work. It just feels like a waste of time. I could have used that to rest. What was neat about that though is like people went to like, you know, since so many people called off at work in the first place, it felt like an adult snow day situation. Because where I work, it's like I'm not allowed to. We don't really close ever. So I just had to sit there. It's like, yep, that's just living it up in the city. Not so much the city, but it's like, all right, it's a sad state of affairs. It feels like shit. We did not complete enough quests with Shizuru. Because they would only show 156 unless there's a 200 requirement. We're fine with that. Let's go to VR. Because everybody loves VR. Well, everybody loves VR more now because of the existence of fucking Total War. More like total shit. She needs to change her gear back to this so we can immobilize Ingrid. Gotta channel your inner AVGN with that one. Total war, more like total shit. Yeah, that was the goal of Total War, was the friends we made along the way. It makes it feel like total shit every time. It is not fun. It just makes me go like, yeah, oh man, that was totally not tiresome and annoying and painful to go through. Let's get out. Plant invade. Rondo duo. Whip shot. I do not have Phantom Rose, but honestly, I'm fine with that. We gotta put the glasses on. I do like how her glasses actually changed the color to match her clothes. That's classy. That's a classy look. Damage, damage, damage. Okay, that's fine. It made VR look good by comparison. Ooh, that's a mistake. Oh, you think VR is bad? We can make something worse. It made VR look good by comparison. Yeah, dude, Total War makes Ingrid Week look like a fucking cakewalk compared to the absolute travesty that is Total War. Total fucking shit. Okay, we gotta turn the game. We gotta turn these sound effects down because I forgot that she does that. That couldn't have gone any worse than it did. That's Big Shell! They're talking about Metal Gear out there. It's like that's the first half of it takes place. That's Big Shell, my man. You're forgetting about that. Like the coolest place ever. Alright, we lost. God, that couldn't have gone any worse than I could have ever imagined. Like that was fucking like, all right. I thought like, all right, well, let's just own the mistake of switching to like Eleanor or something. No, because Shizuru died and I placed the flame pillar wrong. Because I was so focused, like, oh, I gotta turn the sound effects down because that's too loud. Everybody died. Oh, Lord help us. We gotta be able to do this. I always have the sound turned off on this game, so I forget, like, oh yeah, Lena's constantly screaming for some reason. Shit, 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 I did it again. God, it's like it's like, oh, you didn't like the sequel? Here's even a worse sequel. And now it's like you can look back in hindsight of the original stuff that makes it look better than what it actually came back. Because now what does the people say like about Star Wars? It's like, oh dude, it's just like it's an interesting political drama now. Nobody thought that when it came out. Dude, I saw fucking like what's the name of episode 3? I remember seeing that in theaters and I'm like, no, it's like the first 2 movies are like the political intrigue ones. And like and 3 is just like it just comes back to like it's a regular action movie or something. Oh, that sucks. Oh, I have fucked myself on that one. Ah, dude, it's right fucked there, mate. It's right fucked. Royally bed-shittingly bad. Revenge of the Sith. You know, here's a really weird story I have about Star Wars. I don't think I've ever seen a lot of the... I've seen the Disney trilogy because my parents bought the tickets because we'd watched it at Christmas. But I remember watching episode 3 when it came out. I think it was like, 2006 or 2007. I watched that. I thought it was pretty alright. I don't know a lot about Star Wars in the first place. It never really interested me. But I know what it is. So in high school, we had like robotics class, and then we would make like we had to go like there after school to like the vocational building area, where they had like the machine shop, where they had like the welding area and the machine shop stuff where kids learn to do that. So they would have they had this bottle from the Phantom Menace, like all those years ago. Like you had the bottle that has like Anakin. It's a bottle of Pepsi, and it's like what they did. They didn't have a canister to hold like this WD-40, so they took this bottle of Pepsi, like this 2-liter, and they just filled it with the WD-40 all the way to the top. What the fuck are you doing, Eleanor? Come on. Why does the AI do that? So for like the rest of my life, I've associated the Phantom Menace with a 2-liter bottle that smelled of oil and was filled with WD-40. Like there's a picture of like Anakin on the bottle itself. It's like the young kid version of him, and just looking confused. And since obviously those bottles are clear and the bottle has been like knocked around all those years, the label was coming off. It tore off a piece of like Anakin's face, and all you just see behind him is just like his blank stare full of WD-40. That's my greatest Star Wars memory. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, yes. Get fucked, Ingrid. Come on, complete the cast. Well, you know, she got it like about halfway right, in that she put the fire as far away as possible. Here's the thing, though. She needs to, you know, let's finish. Let's get over the hill. Let's finish the mission, and get away from where the fire is going to land. That's like, you know, pretty important. That makes like the biggest difference in our survivability. She is also my primary DPS. I really don't want her to die. Because this is an immense, concentrated team effort to making sure we can win. Everything needs to come together. Everybody has to do their part. That's why we have Tokiko on debuffing, Shizuru on support. We have to win. Oh my god. Every time with this shit, it's like the only reason Planet Invade does not do a bunch of damage by itself, but thanks to it being such a slow projectile, like I can plop it down in front of her and it hits her like 30 times. I just need it to break her armor. It doesn't surprise me when I find out when people climb really high in Ingrid VR, they are using 2 white feathers so they can consistently keep breaking her armor down along with Lena, so they can keep holding them still. Because anything short of that, it's just like you're just gonna lose the fight. Oh crap, oh crap. Lois, get in here, we're getting fucking killed. Alright, let's reset. Let's reset the fight. Thank goodness Shizuru got her ultimate, because for some reason she gets so many particles now. Hold the fuck still. Lena, I'm gonna need you to start shutting the hell up, okay? Bring. Two white feather. It's like, I only have my 1 white feather because it's like, it's honestly all I've ever needed. Because it's like 1 white feather like will solve most situations. 2 of them is just overkill, except for here. Except for Ingrid, where it's like almost fucking required for it, so you can stop her from doing her bullshit. Like, dude, even right now, it's like, even with all this setup and everything like that, it's still a gamble to keep her from putting more of those fire pillars down. And you know what? It's still more engaging than Total War. Because you know what this is? I have to plan for this situation. I have to make it, and I have to make something work out. Because man, that is, I don't like Total War. I don't like it at all. Alright, Lena's dead. Bitch, you get your ass over here. Oh, Wizards of Waverly Place. I think that was the same guy. I think the people who created Wizards was the same guy who did Field of the Future. If you guys don't know, that's It's a pretty... Wizards of Waverly Place is a sitcom for the Disney Channel that ran through the mid-2000s and the early 2010s. It starred Selena Gomez. You know, Selena Gomez, everybody likes her. She's everybody's favorite, she was like everybody's favorite white girl at that time. She most notably was in a movie called Spring Breakers, which is like it's a pretty shitty movie to say the least, but it's just like, it's fun. It's just like, effectively, he's like, oh dude, we got hot women in bikinis, and it's just like, they're pulling a heist. It's kind of a crappy movie, but you know, you just watch it for the fun of it. I don't want to look at that stuff. It's a waste of my time. Oh no, they all got separated. Tokiko, come here. Oh damn, that sucked. I got so into talking about Wizards of Waverly Place, I fucking died. That's VR for you. You're not allowed to take your eyes off the screen at any point, because that's bad. Because you can't, if you're not allowed to focus at all. What an awful, awful situation. Yeah, most people forgot about Selena Gomez, because I think she's now in like, she's in her 30s now from what I remember. Or I think she's more or less like the same age I am, I think. But it's like she's fallen off a little. She's just fallen off just a little bit. But because I think she was in something recently. She's in some movie. I don't think she's in Nosferatu, but it's like it was some big release movie as of late. Because I think she's been like laying low or something. Plant Invader. Oh, that was bad. Oh, Ingrid, I love your fucking course correction that you have for a normal attack. Wow, that actually turned out really well. That's what I wanted to happen when it last time, because we applied 4 different forms of defense down, which lets Maelstrom do its absolute goddamn thing. Like, look at that. It just annihilated Ingrid's health. Because everybody loves Astaroth. Mostly because she's just super strong in VR, like 25-8. And then you have like, well, Astaroth is really good at like hitting targets that are like, you know, what is it? Astaroth offers almost no utility besides hitting really hard. The Eleanor does effectively the same thing that Astaroth can do, if not better in some cases. Like Blue Astaroth, Blue Eleanor just like does similar or greater damage with also better effects in most cases too. Eleanor can't heal, but it's honestly, that's not big of a deal for her. Oh wow, it actually knocked her out of it. All right, let's keep up this energy. Let's go. No. Oh Jesus. Great shot, kid. 1 in a million. Oh my god. Lois, it's fucking terrible. God, having to think about the fact that this is like, this is the alternative to Total War. Plant Invade juggling is like really great. Like, what is it? I think it knocks in the air innately. Well, also that's because I had I use the white feather active. Yeah, okay, it knocks up everything like that. So as long as so this is probably like what the first time it's like we'll ever see knock up actually be a good thing in the Taimanin universe. It's like, you know, Taimanin is getting knocked up, that's one thing, but knocking up your enemies, that's even better. That's what we're here for. Give you some more crit juice there, hun. Like Shizuru will never, like my Shizuru never ever gets like points for using like these, because when you go do VR you get such a low amount of points every single run and it takes forever for her to level up in the first place. Like this is like the first time I've actually sat down and had like the, oh cool, we have enough. Like that, like actually her farming the event let her get enough points to sit there and just finally accomplish what she's supposed to be doing. They gave her a necessary boost. Okay, we've got a few things left. We're going to finish the bonus stages. And then we're going to go do the Samara supporter. So I know I want to do this with, let's do this with Shiranui, Kiara, and, well no, we'll do Kiara for the third stage. It's probably going to be actually really hard for her. Who else got featured during that? Because we had, because I want to try something with Kiara later on for that. I want to use all three of the supporters that were featured on Kiara, that featured today. So it's like, you know, I never use Murasaki enough anymore. Let's go back. Let's use like a classic with her. Where's she at? She needs that. Tentacle Mine. No, we don't really need that. We need as many AoE abilities as possible. Tentacle Hold. You fushy now, Jan. That's a fushy now, Jan. It's pretty good. Alright. Oh, Murasaki, you got points. Let's put them into you. We'll spend the multi-millions it takes just to level them up just a little bit. Critical rate of protect, how about critical rate of suppress? That sounds nice. Cool, let's get a bonus stage out of it. Oh, I just realized that. Do they have New Year Murasaki? Yeah, there is New Year Murasaki, except I don't have it. I can't remember though. Is this going to be reran this year? I'm not quite sure. Oh well, we can do the next best thing, which is racist Murasaki. Speed. I am speed. We can turn up the sound now. We're out of the doldrums that is VR. Oh, I know what I didn't take. Oh, no, we have Great Axe Senpu. Oh, we didn't do the correct stage. Oh, well. They certainly do treat the original like Taimanin Shizuru cast very well, because they know it sells. Because you guys ever thought about this? Like, what do you think the median age for like for this game is? Not in terms of like, you know, oh, like what's this game rated for? How old do you think the people are who are playing this? Because I imagine it's a lot like of people of my age and older, because it'd be like a late 20s into like mid 30s situation. So you were 19 when the game came out in October for Global. That was 4 years ago, just for the most part. So now you're like 23 years old at that point then. Because this year I will be like 29. That puts me right in the median age for people who discovered Taimanin Shizuru like right after it either started, like when the Rattan Man English translation came out, or when the movies came out too. That's the one thing I don't like with Fushi no Jin is like you need to. It would do you well to learn how to time it correctly. So you can do stuff like that and just like instant counters. Tentacle hold. Oops, well that sucks. Tentacle Miner. Oh, Murasaki, you're not supposed to be doing that. Tentacle Miners. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call the new younger player base that comes from the time from this game, the Tentacle Miners. Murasaki did a good job there, nice one. Oh, that's right. That's now we have to use Shiranui for it. There's actually a pretty cool interaction I would like to show off later. Rondo. Ugh. Feeling a mistake bone. And we don't need that. She's already going to be strong enough as it is with all we're going to give her. It's just redundant, to say the least. To give her the Power Spike series. There's no white feather. And critical cattle damage. Blow up them kids. Oh. I'll show that off later. Nah, I want to go nuclear with that. Because I know Kiara's is actually going to be pretty hard. Let's get all the really fun critical rate boosters out. Now where's Kaoru too? Chujo Neno, gotta love her, because man, who would have thought having the abilities of two Kaorus put together for two different concepts is like, that's not super strong at all. That's amazing even. Cool, I can actually get to show it off. Yeah, we don't need it. We're fighting mostly demons anyways. Show off our stats one more time. Yeah, AT is Murasaki. All the characters in this, like in action, AT itself, are like vastly different from their VN counterparts. Like it's such like a night and day difference in like every way, shape, and form. What you hissing it for me there, girl? Come on now. Like the one actually from like, well, for starters, here's the thing about like the Hell Knight Ingrid movie. Ingrid was first introduced in Murasaki's actual VN, Taimanin Murasaki. That is where she comes from. However, you know, it gives a lot of insight, you know, about Girl Miss Murasaki. It kind of also, like, thanks to the popularity that came from, like, Ingrid in the movie, it kind of overshadows Murasaki a little bit. But that's like saying, you know, a water tower overshadows like a Walmart or something. Like everybody still goes to see both. Everybody still gets use out of both of them. Easy peasy. It's also mostly the factor that it's like, you know, okay, it's, you know, it's it's critical Shiranui. She just bowls them over. Enemies use poison attacks. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a really fun, easy, simple time. Totally not going to be a travesty for whoever's involved. Yeah, isn't that great? It's like, imagine your OVA being given to the primary antagonist. And thanks to said OVA, it actually makes Ingrid, like, competitively popular. And in some cases, I think it's actually more. The hybrid Taimanin. Alright, I know already I'm gonna need like better gear for her. Let's first we gotta re-equip Eleanor. We gotta take the weapon off. We gotta put the weapon on. We gotta go find Kiara. We're gonna give her the fancy smanchy thing that's like, you know, that makes me successful in VR. Treasure of the deep ocean. And I'll just give her golden seraph. No, we'll just use that Yasha sphere because that gives me more. Alright. We used Karen. Karen, where is she at? Koro. And now is green. Wow, that is like, this is the supporter setup that is absolutely terrible. Let's just use her, let's just make her 5/5. I'll be fine with that. Is it possible to make a pure poison build? I think only one character inflicts poison in the first place. Maybe in the future we'll get a character that uses poison. Maybe not. Who's got a better call effect? Condensed light explodes. This is gonna be like an absolutely terrible build. Blossoming fog. Oh, dang it. No, that's the mines. We need the extreme dodge. Heavy co-supporter and the Sue does. Okay. Because I think what? The Heavy-Ko's knives have the support for that. And that's about it. The two more slot effect. Crystal Ice. Okay, call me Mr. Cool Ice, baby. Shotgun effect. Yeah, we can do it with a Snow Leopard. Let's see. Alright, one last thing to look over that. We'll just have these to show. Alright. What the hell are you talking about, Raptor? 165, okay. I can already tell this is going to take a while. Because I don't think any of these enemies can buff themselves. But I wanted to do it specifically because it's like, alright, that's the team. I mean, we could have used the Ragnarok supporter. That probably would have actually been better than Now himself. But these are Kiara's friends, so we gotta make sure that they all persevere together. No matter how annoying and rough it can get. Come on, is this gonna work? Yeah! Big damage. Here we go. Very nice. I like. Boom, get dunked on, bitch. Get out of here. Bitch, you're the 3. You are the 3 out here. Get the fuck out of here. Kiara out here with her frozen grape Kool-Aid look. You know, that's probably like one of the best things about Kiara herself, is that her, Glacier Drop is on the dodge input. So whenever you get hit, you just hold the button, and you can just get out of any problem for the most part. So one of my favorite things about her. I don't like a lot about her in the first place. I hope her mom's better. I really do. I hope she's not like a load of shit to play and just like annoying to use, or just like slow and cumbersome. Oh, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. Now we do, though. Nice. Great job, Kiara. Nice. Great job there, Icy Hot. You cleaned them out. 4 minutes. 4 minutes on the dot. Couldn't even touch them. But we have one last thing we need to do. Let's go and do some setup real quick. Special, like we go to collections, we gotta go to supporters, and we gotta go find where Icy Hot's mom is at. My daughter fell in love with a man like Kamadeva. Oh my goodness, what could this be? Oh look, it's her, designed by Oe Nagisa himself. Oh no, Rocks did that one. Their in-house illustrator. What could this be? Let's find out, everybody. A woman, no, a female frost phantom arrived at a snowy town in Japan. The town, which is far from Gosha, is the hometown of the Onisaki Hajime, and where the Onisaki family has lived for generations. Her name is Ragnarok. She lived in the town about 10 years ago, but had to return to the demon realm for a particular reason. Back in the day, Ragnarok lived in this small town for years with Freya, a daughter born between her and Onisaki Hajime. Although the town is different from what she remembers, she becomes nostalgic. Ragnarok calmly walked further into town with a sense of comfort, unaffected by the chill of the snow, and enjoyed both the nostalgia and the change. As she walked by, she saw a building that made her feel more nostalgic. It was the Onisaki Manor. It was where she lived in the human world, where she could return where she felt safe. Perhaps someone had taken care of the manor while she was gone. It smelled a little dusty. They hadn't, actually. Because it was nobody lived here. I know why. Ragnarok's expression softened a little, and the arrangements of the furniture hadn't changed since she lived here. She touched said furniture as if it was recalling memories, and stopped for a while to recollect, and walked again and touched another piece of furniture. Okay. As she repeated this as if trying to figure out what happened in the past 10 years, her face was full of warmth, which didn't make her look like a frost phantom. At that moment, Ragnarok stopped upon sensing someone's presence. There was a stranger in her house, her sanctuary. The voice, as if rebuking this intrusion, was just ordinary words, yet it carried an intensity that seemed capable of freezing the very sound of a soul of anybody who heard it.
フレイヤ様のもとへ贈り物を届けてまいりました。
ネイスか、ご苦労様。
Niece, oh, dude. Oh, look, it's the CG. Ragnarok complimented her and looked the one who silently came into the mansion, not to disturb her. Her name is Niece, an executive of a demon mafia called Banshee, who also shares the same roots as the Frost Phantoms. Half of her face is hidden underneath a mask, preventing anyone from knowing what expression she makes. But her attitude and atmosphere show that she is very loyal to Ragnarok. Just like the frost she had wrapped around her, the cold and quiet atmosphere faded as she spoke to Niece, with an expression of mother concern for her daughter. However, it was a slight change, so slight that not even Niece could recognize it. Niece reported the information on her daughter, which was the other half of her mission, without noticing the change.
お嬢様は日本のタイマニン組織5社の特務中隊という部隊に所属しています。特に虐待や魔族だからと迫害を受けているようなこともないようです。
そう。今、特務中隊と言ったかしら。
はい。
確かエドウィン・ブラックとアスタロと、それに四季の王も関わる例のゲームの邪魔をした部隊が確かそんな名前だったわね。
その通りです。お嬢様、フレイヤ様はその部隊に所属しておられます。
そう、あの3人と関わった部隊で生き残れるなんて成長したようね。
はい。
I mean, how involved was Kiara? Because Ragnarok murmured without changing her facial expression, but her voice was slightly heightened, so slight that only her closest ones could notice.
その部隊はどのような活動をしているのかしら。
表面的には国際的な問題に対処するタイマニンの一組織と紹介されています。実際は多くの問題に対応する何でも屋に近いと私は感じましたが、部隊の人員は女性が多く、人間界の複数組織の混成部隊、しかも人間だけでなく魔族も多く加入しており、お嬢様もご友好を深めておられるようです。ただ部隊の隊長は男性です。
Niece calmly reported, because even if she didn't, Ragnarok would find out sooner or later, and she would scold her for not reporting it in the first place. But deep down, Niece was a little nervous because she wondered how Ragnarok, who had been separated from her daughter for a long time, would react upon learning that her daughter was part of a troop managed by a man.
何者？
名前は風魔小太郎。5社でも古い血筋のジャガン使いの一族のようです。
知らない名前ね。その男はフレイヤに何かしているのかしら。
いえ、風魔小太郎はとても任務へ忠実なようです。お嬢様の実力も理解し、的確に指示を与えているという評判でした。
そう、ならいいわ。
お嬢様は学生の身分でありながらもいろんな任務に参加し、見事な実力を見せておられます。やはり鬼崎の血を引いて タイマニンを目指したのでしょうね。
ええ、そうね。
The blood of Onisaki. This is where her father Hajime comes in, a Taimanin and an enemy of demons, but a kind Taimanin who loved Ragnarok, a frost phantom. Of all things.
僕が抱き上げると泣いてしまう
That's
ん
what he
だ
looks
が、
like? Wow.
やっぱりシンモ
Dude's
ラマ
got
マの
some
方がいい
major
の
Riz
か
game, to
な。
say the least.
ママというのはどうにも私の性に合わないのだけど。
じゃあ母さん。
いや、そうではなくて。
That's not the point. When Ragnarok, Shimara, back then, first became a mother, didn't feel love towards her family or her daughter. She was confused. But still.
こんな一生懸命私の指を掴んで。小さな手ね。
いいなあ。シンモラママだけじゃなくて、僕の指も掴んでくれよ、フレイヤ。
Hajime reached out his hand to Freya, jealous of his wife Shimura. But his daughter just looked at his fingers as if they were strange, and kept holding on to only her mother's tightly and adorably. As Hajime put away his hand frustrated, understanding that she wouldn't hold his fingers, Shimura naturally gave a motherly smile at her husband and daughter.
タイマニンと魔族の血を引いてしまったこの子の将来はどうなるのかしら。
That was the only thing that worried Shimura. Taimanins, the enemy of demons, and demons, the enemy of Taimanins. A dangerous life must be waiting for her who has both of their blood. Shimura was more or less worried about her daughter's future because she has given birth to a child and was overwhelmed with maternal feelings. But Onisaki Hajime accepted her with the all-encompassing smile
君
that
の
she
血を
loved.
受け継いでいるんだ。きっととても強くて丈夫で、あと気が強い女の子に育つだろうね。
Yes, she has the highest defense value in the
喧
game.
嘩を売っている
She's
のか
very
しら。
sturdy.
まさか、僕が好きになった君のいいところを言っているだけだよ。
Look at that Riz game right then and there.
そう。
Dad still
それ
got
に
it.
君の陶器を継いでいるから、それだけでも十分強そうだ。正直、隣で寝かしつける時だって寒くて仕方ないよ。
Said Onisaki Hajime, shrugging his shoulders, but he looked very happy. Just seeing the look on his face made her heart swell, so she hugged her daughter to hide her shyness from her husband.
じゃあフレイヤはタイマニンとして育てるの？
それは本人次第だよ。本人が目指す道へ行ってほしいと思う。けど、鬼の血を引くタイマニン、鬼崎キララなんて二つ名もかっこいいよね。鬼崎キララってことで。
As Onisaki Hajime highlighted the word Oni, Shimura gave her husband a frosty glance, thinking it was ridiculous.
中
What is that, a
年
dad
男子のギャグは若い子には受けな
Oh
いら
my
しい。
god. Young
そ
people
の通
these
り
days
にな
don't
って
like
しま
that.
ったわね。
You were right. Oh, that just burns her up inside to say, doesn't it? Ragnarok returns to the demon realm for a particular reason, and it's been a decade ever since. Ragnarok looked up at the ceiling of the Onisaki Manor, worrying about the future of her daughter. With her blood and Onisaki's, one has to be supernaturally strong to defeat her daughter. But, as a mother, she is naturally worried about her. She wants her to stay away from battles. She wants her daughter not to overdo herself. If she had heard that her daughter got hurt, her heart would break. You feel the ice thaw. What worried her more is that the enemies her daughter was against were high-ranked demons. However, she is hesitant about whether to intervene or not. Recalling what Onisaki Hajime had said, he wanted their daughter to become whatever she wanted to become. While Ragnarok was in agony as a mother, Niece, who didn't notice, continued with her
そ
report.
れと風魔小太郎ですが、こういう男性です。
As a skilled executive of Banshee, Nice prepared photos of the man to explain easily. Visualizing information is crucial while reporting.
冴えない男ね。
はい。
Samara's face is like really small.
どうしてどの写真にもフレイヤ以外の女が写っているのかしら。
特務中隊という部隊が女性タイマニンばかりで構成された特殊な部隊。
Though some of them are men. See,
あと、
where's those
そ
pictures
の
of the
中の
men
数人
then?
は男です。
そう。
その怒らないで聞いてほしいのですが。
I will hope it is.
怒らないからすぐ話しなさい。
お嬢様、その風魔小太郎を男性として意識しているようです。
Dun dun dun. Nice gave her a photo of Freya with Fumakataro to Ragnarok. There it is. Got Asiago and Sakura too. Because in it was Freya, with a kind smile that she couldn't hide, and Fumakataro, who was with the other ladies too. Not one, but several.
何？
She's
この数
mad.
日、風魔小太郎を尾行して用意した写真です。
ではこの数日、この男は毎日毎分毎秒違う女と一緒にいて、これだけ至近距離で娘に好意を向けられても気づかず、だらだら生きていると？
そうなりますね。
Oh no. Nice is reporting every detail because she is afraid of what will come if she doesn't. But she feels the temperature in the room plummet by more than 10 degrees. In fact, the temperature change is enough for even a frost phantom to feel chilly.
娘がカーマデバみたいな男に引っかかった。
それはさすがに風魔小太郎に失礼だと思いますが。
By the way, Kamadeva is a notorious succubus king, Don Juan of the demon realm, so to
フレイ
speak.
ヤを連れて魔界に帰るわ。
了解しました。
The competent niece did not protest, for she understood that if she disturbed her right now, even she, a frost phantom, would be turned to ice. Ragnarok went out of the mansion to return to the hideout in Yomahara, furious upon understanding the nature of Fumakataro. As she turned her gaze upon sensing someone looking at her, she saw the three snowmen. Two of them had little horns, which were Shinomura and Freya. The others were Onisaki Hajime.
見守っていて。フレイヤは私が守るから。
The snowmen made with the coldness of the frost phantoms were still watching over the mansion and its family.
フレイヤー、お家に入りなさい。ご飯が冷めるわよ。
Ooh, flashback.
待って、もう少しなの。
Oh, baby Kiara.
もう少しって？
この雪だるま、パパとママのはできたけど、私のがうまくできなくって。
あら、かわいい。角が生えているのがママ。そのお隣がパパね。いびつな2つの雪だるまの間に小さな雪の塊が1つ。上手に作りたくて積んでは壊したんだわ。でも晩ご飯が冷めちゃうわ。今日はパパが作ってくれたハンバーグ
Daddy
よ。
made you a hamburger stick.
ママが手伝ってあげるから早くお家に上がりなさい。
Daddy, look, I made a snowman. Shimura lightly blew some frost. Then, snowflakes gathered and formed into a statue of a little girl.
ママすごい。
さあ帰りましょう。
待って、お名前だけ書くの。パパ、ママ、フレイヤ。
Freya. Wow. That takes place at this supporter event takes place after the event itself. That's what I was trying to get at, because it's like this is supplemental information that you would probably needed to know and may lead into like her stuff. This is like the one time I'm actually like, oh wow, this is actually really good development. because we all know what they do, is that they have the event, they have the supporter that comes out for the character, and they don't do anything else with that development at all. This actually makes me sad because I want to see more of this. Like, Ragnarok is an actual parent. She cares a lot about her child and everything like that. That's nice. I liked this. We'll read the rest. We'll read her little description here for it. She's a demon, a chiefess of the high-ranking Oni clan as the Frost Phantoms. The name Ragnarok is passed down from the legendary king who unified said Frost Phantoms in the past. Her real name is Shinomura. She fell in love with Taimanin from the human world and gave birth to Freya, who she still watches. She is the strongest swordswoman amongst the Frost Phantoms, using the demonic frost blade Leviathan. She displays formidable power, combining Frost Phantom's unique frost magic and swordsmanship. Additionally, she founded a demon mafia called Banshee, which consists of Frost Phantoms where she serves as their boss. Very cool. So that's the thing. That's what we're going to be looking out for in what do they call that? February? Yeah. In February, it's going to be Ragnarok. So I hope she probably her gacha signature weapon is going to be Leviathan. No, that's going to be her default weapon because they give the signature default as the normal, and they have a different gacha signature. But who knows? If she shares, she shares. If she doesn't, she doesn't. That's just how it's going to be. But I think we've covered all I want to cover today. We've showed off the wonderful Miss Shizuru in action. She's stronger than ever and looking good doing it. We got to check out Total War and all the problems that it presents. Got to do the event, checked it all out. Bam, because Shizuru knows what to do. Thank you everybody for stopping by. That was a great time. I loved it. Always love hanging out with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.